Hello everyone and welcome to a very special reading. I do these every year and these are my favorite. This is a Day of the Dead, a Dia de Muertos reading, messages from your ancestors, and I invite you to really cozy up this space. If you have your own offerings, if you have your own altar, your ofrenda, then by all means bring a little piece of the ancestors that you love truly and dearly with you, because I'm going to channel messages that you need to hear or any sort of advice that they may have for you if you have a question in mind. This is supposed to be very freeform and you're allowed to choose as many piles as you want. You can even dedicate one to one side of the family and one to the other, or maybe if you're just thinking of one particular person and another, or even questions. It's very freeform. I'm channeling a lot of love. These are my favorite readings of all time because I love bringing a little bit of my culture with tarot and spirituality and having it all blend together. And the fact that so much love comes through whenever I tap into your lineage, regardless of what your lineage is, whether you are close to it, whether you are a little bit more distance from it. I feel like there's always love that the people who came before you have to give love and share. Like they love to be able to build you up. So I hope you come into this with an open mind and an open heart. But we have 4 piles here for you today. Pile 1, we have a clear crystal quartz point. Pile 2, we have our cute little clear quartz turtle. Pile 3, we have a selenite heart. And pile 4, we have candle quartz. So take a few deep breaths. Let the light in. If you would like to say a prayer of gratitude or to your ancestors, you can. And I'll be ready for your reading whenever you are. Hello there, pile 1. If you chose our beautiful clear quartz point, then we have your reading here for you from your ancestors. We're channeling advice from your ancestors for this special Dia de Muertos, Day of the Dead reading. So I'm getting a sense of like great energy and excitement. So I'm not sure if you come from like a very excitable family or a family that really enjoyed like uplifting you or just having a good time. Maybe you come from a family of like party people or just like really high energy people. You know how there's some people out there who can just do a million things in one day and not get tired? I'm getting that sense, like a beautiful rush of energy as soon as I started tapping into this energy. So I am loving it. Of course, you could identify with this energy as well. Maybe this is where you get it from. So we're going to leave your beautiful guardian angel card for last. This will be their parting message, their parting advice. But we're going to start with this particular card. We have Fiesta. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's what I was feeling. Like your family loves to party. They have a lot of energy. Of course, when they're not partying, I still feel that they bring like good vibes, good times. They love to joke around. They a little bit immature. I'm not gonna lie. There's a little bit of immaturity. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if you yourself were Mexican, because I get this a lot from like, Mexican folks, they love to have a good time. I know my family does. Or at least when they when they do party, they turn up. That's what I'm getting. But I'm also getting this feeling of just like you bring this energy everywhere with you. Or if you don't, you have the capability to do so. And there's kind of a feeling here, and times when you are down or times when you're not feeling great, because they do happen, I feel like you still are really good at putting up an amazing front or being able to just let those worries slide away, if temporarily, because I feel like for a lot of you right now, you're going through something, but you may not be showing it, whether it's like, for example, in the workplace, you're still joking around, having a great time with your clients or your coworkers or whoever it may be. If it's within a friend group, again, you might be going through something, but you still are there for your friends. You still are there to, cheer them up. And it's kind of like you do a lot for people in terms of your good vibes. Let's go ahead and get the rest of your cards, though. I'm going to get more from this particular oracle. And I apologize in advance for my shuffling skills. For those of you who are new, this might be your first time on the channel. Hello, I'm Stephanie, and I am Mexican American, so this is part of my culture, my heritage, and I love to share it combined with my love of tarot. So let's get more cards. We have fotografía, a photograph. Maybe you're the kind of person who loves to keep pictures, if not just in your phone. Maybe you actually still print them out and put them all over your house, your room, wherever it may be. There's something about, I feel like some of you are actually very photogenic. Or if not photogenic, then you're really good at capturing the mood in pictures. Maybe some of you are professional photographers. or you just happen to take like really, really good pictures. Like you always capture the right moment, or you have something about, because I'm being told to take this particular card very literally. There's something about you either being very photogenic or taking good pictures, or people love to look at pictures of you. This wouldn't surprise me if you were like the firstborn, because ask, especially, well, I don't know if it's still a thing because I don't know, but it's always the firstborn who has the most pictures, because you know, the first baby, parents want to take every single picture, every single moment, every single video. Like there's gonna be a lot of, for a lot of you, there's like a lot of pictures of you, or a lot of stuff on social media as well. Like I said, videos, since I guess we're transitioning to that a little bit more than pictures. Let's get more. For pile 1, we have Mictlan. So Mictlan, it's a place, and I'm going to read into it. I want to say this is like the afterlife, the Aztec afterlife. I will read into that because I'm not familiar. But and then back of the deck, Nagua. Ooh. Ooh, my goodness. Okay, some of you have some powerful ancestors. Like, I'm talking, and by powerful, I mean like their energy is still impacting your life and your family's life several centuries back. Like, I don't think you understand. And it's not, it doesn't even have to be necessarily Mexican or Aztec or any of the indigenous cultures within Mexico, what is now called Mexico. It could be far back. Like for those of you who are mixed with several things, and everybody is to some extent somewhere down their bloodline, you've got very powerful ancestry from a very particular time and place and tribe and area that I feel like isn't really, like you can't translate it in today's terms, because some of these spiritual practices have fallen off, and there's like no recorded, there's nothing recorded about that, because I'm feeling something very deep and powerful, because I'm trying to put it into words and I understand it energetically, but if you ever try to translate energy, it doesn't make sense. All I can do is like explain and feeling, because I'm feeling a very powerful pull, like in the throat, in the heart, and in the third eye. And as I'm saying that, it sounds like I'm saying in the name of the of, you know, like I'm hearing of Catholicism, so it's been translated into that. So if some of you grew up with like a very particular religion or spiritual background, doesn't matter what it is, that's the best way it was translated. So if when you were younger you were very religious, but now you're just more spiritual, that's why you were meant to learn your specific religion or spiritual practice of your upbringing in order to translate this into what you are doing now. Because I feel like for a lot of you, you are very spiritual. You probably do tarot, energy work, you clear spaces, feng shui, whatever it is that you do something with energy. And you have ancestors who, again, you cannot translate whatever it was that they used to do to today's terms, but you're doing that very same thing. For a lot of you, it's just transmitting energy. It is, that's what I keep hearing, transmitting energy, being able to channel. I feel like this is channeling because it's such a strong pull. I've never felt this. It's pretty amazing, pile 1. If you don't do anything like this is just a reminder that this is a possibility for you and you just haven't taken it on. This could be a call for you to literally step into it, because it's very grounded energy. You have powerful ancestors. Should you decide to do something along these lines, like meditate, do ancestral work, energy healing, tarot, astrology, not everyone's astrology. This feels like something, like I'm seeing smoke being billowed around. I'm seeing like the earth, the wind. It's something very earthy. That's what I'm seeing. Like a lot of you have the possibility to tap into this. Like you will have a powerful ancestor with you who will be kind of like a guide to you. Because even as I'm standing, like the weight distributed along my body, it doesn't feel like my own weight. It feels like somebody else's. But it's powerful and it's beautiful. It's like somebody is here standing with you in your power. Oh my goodness, pile 1. Let me read from this. Let me do some justice to this and read it from the book. So from the book, I'm going to only read certain passages because it's a lot. But if you want to go ahead and like screenshot this to read on your own, you can. But I'm going to go ahead and read. Mictlan. In the depths of your soul, there's unshakable strength. My precious one, it's time for you to know that the emotions you thought you had to bury because they were too great for any human to bear can be given to me. I can handle it. Give me your pain, your burdens, your heaviness, your anger, and watch as I transform them into fruit on the vine, flowers on the trees, and opportunities for you to love and live in new and rich ways you could never have imagined. Do not feel the need to bear your heartache alone. Let me walk with you. Share your pain with me because I know what to do with it. Give it all to me and watch as what you thought was unbearable transforms into the wind beneath the wings of the next chapter in your gorgeous life. And there's something here, yeah. According to Aztec mythology, Mictlan is the underworld where souls continue to live after death and is ruled by King, oh gosh, I'm going to butcher this, Mictlantecuhtli and his wife, Mictecacihuatl. It is believed that souls must overcome 9 levels of obstacles on their journey to Mictlan. So it's funny that I said the afterlife because I feel like in this particular underworld, it feels different. It's more joyous. But regardless, I feel like your ancestors really want you to, in your times of need, in your times when you don't know what to do, tap in deeper in whichever way you know how. You can pray, you can meditate. For a lot of you, especially if you come from very conventional religious backgrounds, just try praying the way you've always been taught to do. I think when you go back to basics like that, it will help. And of course, meditation, meditation, at least for me, I take it a step further where you visualize, you feel, you ask. You don't even have to do a lot of rituals. I literally just sit and in my mind, I create a scene. I set the scene. I don't create it. I set the scene and allow things to come to me. So for a lot of you, your ancestors want you to know that just as they like to party with you, they also want to be able to bear your sorrows. It's kind of like we want to be with you when you are happy. We want to be with you when you are sad. Let us help you out because this is what family is for, at least the family that has passed. It could also be, of course, be your friends, anyone that was close to you that has passed on. They are more powerful in the afterlife than they are now. And I try to tell that to people when people have moved on, that they have not lost somebody. They've gained an angel. They've gained a spirit guide. They've gained somebody on the other side who is there to watch out for them in a way that they couldn't if they were in their human body. I'm also going to read for Nagual. Also, the way I'm speaking right now, it feels very urgent. And I'm not saying that because there's anything urgent happening. I just feel like that's how your family talks. Like maybe they just talk really fast or really loud or really, in a way that people may even say, is something okay? Is anything going wrong? And you're like, no, that's just how my family is. That's just how we talk. So maybe that's just how your family is or how your cultural background. Maybe I know certain people, certain languages are just like that, depending on who you are. Okay, so for Nagual, plunge bravely into the unknown. Beloved, you picked this card because you were primed for a breakthrough. Whether you realize it or not, you are ready to shake the scales from your eyes. Take a deep breath and release the pain you've been recycling based on a belief in lack or that you've lost me. That couldn't be further from the truth. The absence of my physical body is an invitation for you to become more transparent, to connect with me by more deeply, attuning to your psychic energy that perceives beyond density. My passing is your initiation into more profound healing, wisdom, and awakening. This might feel overwhelming, but if you think about it, why else were you born? If you search your memory, you'll recall that we made a sacred pact before we incarnated. So far, as strange as it may seem, I've kept my end of the bargain. Now the question is, will you? And it's interesting because I was just thinking of spiritual contracts, the things we do before our soul reincarnates, the things our souls agree to before they reincarnate into this world. And the image I was being given was, how when children are little and they're in school and they're working on their projects and they're coming up with all these, cute, great little inventions or things. That's how we choose our names. The specific thing I was asking about was like, why are we named the things we are? Because sometimes people get some very coincidental names to the things that they do in life. For example, my name's Stephanie. It's a Greek name. I feel like in my past lives, I've probably been Greek. Like I'm thinking of ancient Greece a lot. And then the name itself can mean several things. It comes from Stephen, which means crown or like a laurel wreath. And that makes sense to me because I vibrate a lot from my crown chakra. This is where we take in intuitive guidance. This is where the light comes in. This is where divinity comes in. And this is how I'm channeling right now. So that makes sense to me. That's what I'm thinking. Like we choose our names almost in a silly way before we're even reincarnated to determine what our stamp will be. It's like we're literally creating an avatar in our bodies, and we're choosing the username. And just like how sometimes you come up with like crazy usernames, that's what we do with our names, but of course we make them sound a little different. I mean, I want to provide examples of names. I'm going to use my sister because I talk about her a lot, and she has her own blog. And Michelle, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, but I swear this is all good. Her name is Michelle, and she's a Cancer. And Cancers, of course, are the sign of the crab, and the crab has a shell. And I always think it's so cute and funny that her name means my shell. And she's a Cancer, so she can go into her shell, and she is rather introverted, and of course she likes to take time away because she's also an empath like me. So, and empaths, we love to step away from the world. So I would look into your name and see exactly what it means, because there's something about your name that is meant to determine what your life story will be, or one of the things in life that you are meant to do. Not everything, of course. Sometimes it's just like a key part, like one big part of your soul, but there's a feeling here that your name holds a lot of weight. I want to see who Nawal is. In Mesoamerican folk religion and spirituality, a Nawal is a man or woman of power, a spiritual guide, or a Toltec wisdom keeper. Nawals are also believed to have the ability to shapeshift into animals, heal, and perceive other dimensions. Essentially, yeah, for a lot of you, your name may mean healer, or your spiritual destiny or any sort of destiny may be in your name. Like I said, Stephanie meaning crown. I channel energy. I channel wisdom. So I feel like, look at your name, because there's something to unlock there. Wisdom especially comes through you. Let's go ahead and get the rest of your cards, though, for my beautiful pile one. I love when I channel this energy. It's just so happy and joyous. We have the tear, and it's interesting because a lot of these cards have been mentioning that you may have been going through something. So tears are cleansing. Tears are how we wash away our sorrows. Of course, they have to come through us and with us, and sometimes they come through because of pain, but this is how we wash away that energy which is no longer meant for us. This is why sometimes we have an uncontrollable need to release emotionally. Even when we're happy, we're cleansing away that which isn't serving us to make room for the joy. And when we're in pain, we're cleansing away the pain to make room for growth, to make room for understanding. We have, oh, this is beautiful, Anima Mundi. This is a card of completion, a card of interconnectedness too, because if you look very closely, there's like all kinds of symbolism in this one little card. There's like all these planets. There's these, I want to say they're like pearls and gold and eyes and little symbols. It's symbolism. It's like we're multitudes. We all come from so many things. We are comprised of all our past and all our futures and all the things that we've done here on earth. This would be my pile of people who have lived several times on earth. I know I have, because there's a feeling that I'm very familiar with the earthly ways, with the human ways, if you will, both good and bad. Like, it's not all bad. A lot of it is also good. This is especially true if you're good at things like this. This is going to be random. If you're good at navigating, like if you're good at following a map back before we had things like Google Maps, especially, like this is something that's been passed down to you. It's like you already know the earth. So if you never get lost, or if you're really good at finding your way, this is one way of letting you know that you've had an earthly life before, because I've met people who have and haven't. And there's like a big difference between those people. Not saying that one is better than the other. It's just, a fact, like, or it's just a little fun fact. Like, some of us have lived several lives. Specifically, I'm hearing the golden age of piracy, or back in the days when traveling by boat was important, by ship was important, because think about it. Have you ever been to the middle of the ocean? Have you ever just seen it? How do you navigate that? Like, how do you just go on and on? You just steer into the nothingness and hope that you land where you're going. And then even then, when you land, it's like, am I at the right place? How do you find that out? There's something very intuitive about that. So some of you, maybe in your past, that's what you did. But regardless, I feel like a lot of you will find that when you look into your spiritual genetics, or that's not how to, your spiritual makeup, if you will, you'll find that you are compromised. I keep saying compromised. You are comprised of things that you have chosen before you were reincarnated for a reason. I want to get one more from this deck, and then we'll move on to others. The unseen. A lot of you are so good You're so good at seeing the unseen. This is that intuition. A lot of you have a very strong intuitive force within you. And I feel like a lot of you doubt it, either because of your emotional sensitivity or because there's this feeling that there's no way you could know everything. And it's like, why do you doubt your magic so much? Why do you doubt the beautiful miracle that is you? Why do you doubt that you are more than just this meat suit? You are more than just, a human body. Like, what makes us different from things like artificial intelligence? It's our soul, because, and I know we like to make fun of AI and stuff, but it's like, our our souls is what sets us apart from robots, because they're going to start making them pretty believable going into the future. What's going to determine the difference is your past and your future. That's interesting. I wasn't expecting the ancestors to bring up AI, but I guess here we are. Let's get more cards. Oh, I'm loving this reading. Okay, we have cacao. Ooh, chocolate. I love it. You are loved, you are held, and you already have everything you seek. For those of you who go to intuitive readings a lot, I feel like there's nothing wrong with this. I mean, I know I do from time to time, because I like confirmation of, whatever it is that I'm feeling or certain things. I just need to make sure that it's not just me, that somebody else is also like understanding this. But for a lot of you, you already have everything that you need. And it's interesting that owls pop up twice. Owls could be a very important animal. And what's interesting is, in the West, we've always associated it with wisdom. But in other parts of the world, in other cultures, owls can also they associate them with death for some reason. And it's kind of like, I'm seeing Odin, like, I can't remember if he dies in the tree of Yggdrasil for wisdom to give to the people. But there's also the Christian version, Jesus dies on the cross for the sin. It's kind of like, for the sins of other people, it's kind of like you go through that dark night of the soul and you learn. So in transforming ourselves, we gain more wisdom. And sometimes it just happens with age. And after all, aging can sometimes feel like the death of a past version of ourselves. So beautiful energy, but you already have everything that you need. You just have to tap into yourself, into your intuition. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with going into these readings to seek confirmation or to get clarity on something that maybe you've been thinking about. But it would help more to rely on your own intuition. And again, that's hard. Even me, as somebody who's been doing tarot and energy healing for years, and I mean at least a good decade by now, there's a feeling that sometimes you lack the clarity. Chocolate could also be important. There's some ritual here that I'm seeing with cocoa. Like, you take the cocoa, and just like plain cocoa, you add water, or I guess milk if you would prefer it that way. And then you add the herbs that you need at that time, because every herb has like either a spiritual and or emotional meaning. For example, cinnamon to me is very grounding. I love cinnamon, so you could add cinnamon to your cocoa. You could add cloves, nutmeg. Nutmeg's another good one. I love that one. For some of you, it could be mint. Mint for clarity, I'm hearing. And for a good voice, or clear voice, I guess, like a more clear voice. For some of you, you could add rose to chocolate if that's something you prefer. I'm seeing all kinds of weird recipes. Like, somebody here, one of your ancestors, is like, prepare your food with intention, but specifically the things you drink, like your teas as well. It doesn't necessarily have to be cocoa. I'm just saying that because he looks like he's pouring milk or cream or sugar into his cocoa. It's interesting because this says cacao and then it says spirit medicine. Your food can be your medicine for sure. I definitely believe in that. There's also apples here. I don't know, apples and chocolate. Experiment with the things you like, pile one. We have fawn. Oh, 15. Be curious, dear child, and explore the world within worlds. Some of you had a very strong imagination as children. You had a very strong imagination. You could have been a bookworm as well, because she's reading this book. Or maybe you were even really good at writing. And part of the reason is because these books you were reading, or these worlds that you escaped to as a child, were meant to open up your mind, your eyes, in a way that the real world couldn't, especially if you were growing up with technology, but you were that oddball kid who really liked to read, or who liked to do things that, maybe the other kids didn't do. There's a feeling here that you were meant to impart wisdom on the world, and you knew that from a very early age, which is why you loved to read or to learn. You really loved to learn. And this is one way that we did that. Because like I said, I feel like people who like to read have lived numerous past lives, and in past lives they've been scholars or writers or something. Because, like, think of all the people who mourn is it the Library of Alexandria that burned down? Like, people mourn that, even though it happened so long ago, and there's no way any of us even knew what was going up in there. Like, there's a mourning for knowledge, a mourning for the conservation of knowledge as well, like the things that we've lost. I think that's why this particular ancestor that never even thought to record what they did is coming through. I mean, they didn't really worry because they understood spirit, and that spirit comes through in everybody. But this particular ancestor worries about why people aren't as spiritual as they are anymore when I'm channeling them a little bit more directly, the more human side of this person. We have, oh, we got two more. We have apple of my eye. Apples are important somehow. Maybe wherever you are from, there's like apples. Maybe there's apple orchards or apples grow naturally there. Or maybe you come from like a family of apple farmers. But apple of my eye, not all that's alluring may be what it seems. See beyond the illusion. Oh, you're really good at seeing through people. At least most of the time. I think everybody's meant to slip up every now and then when we think we see through somebody, just to kind of remind ourselves what it is that we are truly seeing versus when it is rose-colored glasses. But for a lot of you, you've always had the sense of you being able to see through people. You see beyond the illusion. And for a lot of you, you see beyond the human life that people create, and you want more. And this is okay. It's okay for you to want more. It was in your genetics. It was in your makeup. It was in your, I keep hearing like spiritual genetic makeup or whatever that may mean. It was within you to always want and perceive more than what was going on. Because to you, life is not just the life that we have here in the 3D. It's that which is going on, which is unsaid, which is unseen. A lot of you are clairvoyant. That means that you see images, you see things. So there's a feeling that you can see through people, like it figuratively, as in you know what's going on behind the words that they say, but also see them like in the way that they are meant to live. Because it's very idealistic, the energy that I'm getting right now when I'm tapping into you specifically. It's like you see people and you see the best version of themselves. But this person may not always live up to that, or these people may not always want to achieve or be that, because they have their own struggles, their own blocks, their own worries, whatever they have going on. But this is the idealist you. You always see what people at their highest and best self could be. And here it is, peppers. Be fierce about the ways in which you protect yourself. Allies await. It's important to protect yourself from those who may only be out there to use you. And what's interesting is that these two look very similar, like they could be in the same room. We have this little jar that says banishing. So there's something here about whenever you need to banish a certain energy or a certain person, your ancestors are there with you. They collaborate with your angels, your higher self, and of course the universe, light, whatever you call the divine creator. If you believe in energy in that way, everybody conspires together to get rid of something for you if you no longer want it. This includes people. I know I've done this with toxic people in the past, and if for whatever reason you can't get rid of them, there is still a lesson there to be learned. When they finally leave, the lesson has been learned. So let's go ahead and move on to the tarot portion of this. And if you're still here with me, thank you again for letting me read for you. It is such a pleasure. It is an honor to be able to do these readings. I love this reading so much. It feels like it's, you know how, like, pick your favorite holiday, like the biggest favorite holiday. This is what this feels like, or like a birthday. It feels so fun. And I feel like your family's, your ancestors' energy is also coming through because, like I said, they love to party. They like to have a good time. So they know what they're doing here. Let's get some cards. And again, I'm doing this free form. I don't really have questions, but I just want to know what it is that they want to let you know, what it is that they want to come through. So the first few cards on top is going to be like the theme, and then the advice is going to be on the bottom. I'm being told to start with 3. We have the 6 of Swords. Some of you feel stuck, like you want to move on from something, but you feel stuck. We have the 2 of Cups. This could be regarding relationships, one-on-one connections. So it could be friends. It could be even family, like a particular family member that you have trouble with. Or, of course, for some of you, it could be love. It could be relationships. So pick whichever you want, maybe all of them. I feel like They have stuff to say regarding the relationships in your life. Let's move your crystal here. And the Ace of Pentacles. Why some of you feel that you cannot make any money or get started. This is like, it feels like either a late bloomer or that you feel life cannot start. Because I'm already hearing some of you, if you're tapping into the ancestors that made way more money before you, like I'm thinking of, you know how people criticize boomers for cashing in on like the best era within the US at least. That's what I'm seeing. Some of you want to know how to get started in life because it's like you don't know where to set roots, you don't know how to start. So let's start with the stuckness because I feel like these could be very similar, but one particular has to do with wealth. It has to do with the home. It has to do with something that you can touch and see. And then this other one is just general stuckness. Some of you are just in the wrong area. I'm going to be honest. I've been getting that message very strongly. I feel like there's going to be a very large migration from one place to another, regardless of where you are. Like a lot of people are about to up and move in droves. Not sure why. I mean, I think I know why, because we just had 2 hurricanes in the US, and of course that could displace several people. But this is also like outside of that. There's people wanting more for themselves, so they have to seek it elsewhere. And if you're Mexican American, then I think you understand this. Like a lot of us have families or people of anybody with like immigrant parents, immigrant ancestors. You already understand this very much. So humans as a species, we're nomadic. We move from place to place, and that's what allows us to thrive. Unlike certain, for example, plants, they can't just move everywhere. They have to have the genes, the genetics to be able to tolerate that. That's why certain trees and plants only thrive in certain areas. Same thing with animals. You're not going to find a zebra in the tundra because they can't survive there. Could they eventually adapt? Yes, but it would take years and years. We have the 2 of Wands. I'm hearing that you're making plans. So if you're making plans, you're on track. If you're not already making plans, go ahead and set that intention that you want to do something. The Star, your hopes and dreams, you're about to come upon either a new hope, a new aspiration that is going to shift the way you walk, the way you move towards somewhere. Oh, Knight of Cups. This is after separation from like a particular person, specifically a romantic interest or a really close friend. It could also be that this person is holding you back. If you're staying somewhere just for the sake of somebody, I mean, I think it's kind of self-explanatory that that is what is holding you back. But if you're no longer with this person, but you're still holding on to something about them, this is what's holding you back. Like if you're waiting for somebody to come around, I don't think they ever will. And then the Ace of Wands. Some of you, you have your own dreams, but you're allowing somebody else to dictate them. You're allowing somebody else to tell you what to do, and you're kind of putting your things on the back burner. You're putting your own plans, your own aspirations on the back burner. And this is especially true if you are either a woman or were really close to the women in your family. This would include your mother, sisters, grandmother, whoever it may be, because only a few generations ago, women didn't really have many rights, or they couldn't do a lot. So they had to wait on their husbands, or they had to depend on their husbands in order to do this. Or even if they did have that freedom, it was still frowned upon. So you're carrying some sort of baggage. Even if you're a man, even if you're a straight man, you're carrying some sort of burden from the women you were close to, because it's kind of like you feel that you can't do anything unless there is like a very controlling, powerful energy around you. So, and for some reason you feel that you cannot obtain this control, or that you can't do this. The way to combat this is to turn this Ace of Wands upside down, to take back control, essentially. Take back that wand. It is yours to wield and not anybody else's. Because I'm being shown Harry Potter now, how everybody is given a wand. It's kind of like that wand represents the power everybody has over their own life. You know, they don't share a wand. They don't loan the wand. I mean, I guess they could, but every wand is personalized to them. So take back control of your life, the wand representing your life here. And understand you're not meant to wait for anybody. You're not meant to wait for somebody else to be ready, and you're not meant to wait for a partner to move on to the things that you're meant to do. This could also be, for example, some of you not wanting to progress somewhere because you feel that your partner, like some of you feel that you're waiting for your person before you do something. Don't do that. Just do you. Do the thing you're meant to do. Do the thing you are meant to do. Which leads us very beautifully into the next card, which is relationships. What do you got to say about relationships, ancestors? What is number 1? Pile 1. Have to know about their particular relationships. And I guess trigger warning, like they're saying this with a lot of love, and I am trying to say this with a lot of love as well, if it's anything that is negative. But what's going on? Yeah, 9 of Wands. Some of you worry too much about relationships. Specifically like marriage, specifically maybe one particular person or somebody. For some of you, it's either you worry too much about your partner, like whatever current partner you may have or what partner you have at the time. You care too much about what their input is. For others of you, somebody has wronged you in the past and you've never got over it. And we have to move on in the healthiest way possible, because the way we are meant to move on is by forgiving. Well, first of all, forgiving yourself for allowing this to happen. Like forgiving yourself for not knowing that you were meant to move on in a healthier way, or that you were not really meant to be with this person. Forgiving yourself for choosing wrong if that is what you feel you did. And forgiving this person, of course, because it's better to see it as if they didn't know any better. We have the 5 of Wands. Yeah, some of you, especially if you have like argumentative partnerships, or where you feel that life has to be a struggle, where you feel that love has to be some sort of, I'm seeing like a soap opera, telenovela, you know, like you feel it has to be something super passionate, something super, super crazy. Well, maybe not crazy. You're not going to see it as crazy. You're going to see it as like, oh, I need excitement. And there's nothing wrong with excitement within a relationship, but I feel like some of you take it a little too far. We have Queen of Swords. Yeah. Some of you, you're a little too logical about this as well. It's like you try to reason as to why you should stay in relationships that otherwise don't make any sense. But I feel like a lot of you are going to get a lot wiser about your relationships going forward. You're going to get a lot wiser because, well, why are they getting wiser? 6 of Wands reversed. You're tired of losing. We're going to turn this upright. You're going to find a victory. It's kind of like you're sick of how relationships are going. You're sick of maybe even your own crap within relationships sometimes. You're going to open your eyes to something here. Yeah, 6 of Pentacles, reciprocity on both ends. It's like, where are you giving too much? Where are they giving too much? Where are you taking too much? Where are they taking too much? The Sun. And this will boost your confidence. And I feel like I'm oversimplifying it here because there's a lot of people tapping in. So I can't really, like, I can't hone in on one thing, but there's several things going on here where you're just going to rebalance, recalibrate how you go about viewing relationships. And this may come after some time of a long hermit mode or some self-reflection. Yeah, completion. And I feel like you're finally putting a particular story or cycle or pattern within relationships to rest for sure after listening to this reading. For a lot of you, we are doing this during Scorpio season for a reason. It is the sign of death and rebirth. So there's a reason why Day of the Dead is during Scorpio season. The Aztecs really knew what they were doing, or I forget who the indigenous people who originated this particular holiday are. I want to say Aztec, it could be the Mayan as well. Our indigenous ancestors. Let's just call them that. Let's move on to the Ace of Pentacles. Why can you not lay down roots? Why is it so hard to get started? Because for a lot of you, you are late bloomers. And for some of you, you just, again, it's like if you are in your early 20s, late 20s, early 30s, it feels like it's impossible nowadays to like buy your own home, find a good paying job, work yourself up in a job if you're already there. It's just, there's a feeling of hopelessness here with the Ace of Pentacles, mostly due to resources as well. For some of you, you may not want to have children for this very reason. It's like the state of the world is crazy. What do we do? But remember, there have been crazier times than this because, again, they were either not recorded, we didn't think about it, or they were just crazier times. But we keep moving on, right? We keep moving on. Our species has survived a lot, the human race. We have the King of Wands. Take back your own control, but you will fake it before you make it. This is, remember that you came here with a purpose, with a reason. You decided to be born at this time for a reason. And you may not think that right now, but the future, like the past will give you perspective for sure. Let's get more cards for this. We have, okay, the Four of Pentacles and the Ace of Swords. You're going to find a new way of retaining resources because the Four of Pentacles, this is you actually holding on to your resources. It's reversed because the Ace of Swords, you're going to start valuing something else other than the material goods, especially for those of you who in the past may have lived a superficial life, or maybe you've been chasing the dollar a little bit too much. Like, you're going to find a new way of living that is going to make a lot more sense than what is going on right now. Or you could be, but let me get more cards before I move on. Yeah, Eight of Swords. You feel it's hopeless, but King of Swords. You come up with something ingenious. The way you're meant to make a living is different from everybody else's. Or it's something that wasn't an option to you when you were younger. So of course it didn't make sense. Of course you didn't know how. And maybe it's something that's not an option right now, but moving into the future, it will be. I mean, just think of all the new careers that are keep popping up that weren't around before. Influencer wasn't a thing when I was, graduating high school. Like, that wasn't something I would have ever thought of. Nor is it something that I ever thought I would do. I never thought I would post videos on YouTube, and here I am having an amazing time, loving the feedback I get from everybody, loving that I'm able to impart my wisdom, my gifts with everybody for free here on YouTube. And of course, I also make paid personal readings if you would like that. But I actually enjoy these free readings just as much as the personal ones. Like, I would continue doing this if I didn't make any money off of it because it's fun. Same thing for you, Pile 1. You are meant to have a lot of fun in the next thing that you do. This is a way of living that is way better than anything that is out there for you. It's kind of like you create your own career, or you create your own job, or this job that is offered to you creates a lot of freedom. So it doesn't feel that way. You wake up on your own terms, doing what you want and doing something you love that you get paid for. I really like that. Because we have a lot of kings here in this feeling stuck energy. This is just reminding you to take back control of yourself. Take back control over your life. Three of Swords. And this is how you prevent anything. This is you becoming unbreakable. Because Three of Swords is disappointment. Reverse, it's like, no, you can't disappoint me because I have a lot more control over my life than you realize. Oh my goodness, I love that. And Knight of Swords. And people will support you in this. If this is something where you can employ people, you will find the people who can get behind you and want to help you out. This could also be just you. For some of you, it could have something to do with the internet. Like, a lot of you are going to make money through the internet because Swords is air energy. Air energy is communication. Communications is all about the internet. The internet is very Mercury / Hermes blessed. And this is what I'm getting in this particular reading for you, Pile 1. Back of the deck, we have 7. So we have the 7 of Cups reversed. If some of you have been feeling overwhelmed with your options, or if you've been feeling indecision, things are going to get more clear from now on. There's a sense of clarity that you've tapped and accessed by just listening to some of the wisdom that has come through in this reading. And I typically don't speak this way. Like, I'm typically not like, oh, this will happen after. Like, I typically don't do that. And of course, this is like not 100% chance either. Like, this is all up to you whether you decide to take this advice or not. But for a lot of you, your clarity is coming through. Your decisions are going to be more concise. This is kind of living a life with intention. And because you set intention into the life you live, the universe will open up to you. It's like, hi, hello. We heard that you have a really good plan. Let's work with you. And I love this for you. Okay, let's get your parting advice from your beautiful ancestors, Pile 1. Your little angel guidance card. Patience. Patience is required at the moment. You may feel that things are not moving as fast as you would like. Yet there is a lot going on energetically. The current situation causing concern is evolving positively. Let go and have patience. You will eventually realize that this whole event was in fact a blessing. All is perfect as it is. Trust. You are eternally loved and guided. And that is so beautiful. But this is where I leave you, Pile 1. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe. And I am still having some Day of the Dead readings going on until the first week of November this year. So if you would like one, you can reach out to me. Otherwise, I will see you in the next reading. Take care. Hello there, Pile 2. If you chose this cute little turtle, then we have your reading here for you for Day of the Dead. We're going to tap into some wisdom from your ancestors and anything else, any other messages and advice that want to come through. So I feel like for some of you, You've been making some decisions that you feel that your current family, the family that you live with, or the family that you're having to deal with, is not very proud of, or that they disapprove of something. Your ancestors are here to tell you that this family doesn't know better. Their human side is kind of letting all these very superficial and non-important things get in the way of them letting you be happy with your decisions. Or there's something here where your ancestors are filled with unconditional love for you, even if when they were alive, they may have been just like the family that you are currently dealing with. Your ancestors are here to tell you that they're okay with this. So if you really do seek the approval of family, know that you don't just have the family in this life, you have family on the other side as well that is willing to support you and love you, even if they're not there in person. They support you within your heart. And I feel like for a lot of you, I'm getting a discouraging feeling from you. Like maybe some of you find it hard to believe, but it's something within the heart where I feel like you've tried and tried to be something maybe that you don't really resonate with, or try to be something that you're not. Try to be something that somebody told you to be, whether it was society, your family, friends, whatever the situation is. You've tried to be something, but it's not working. And I feel like some of you are about to embark on a journey, a soul's journey, where you are trying something different, or where you come about something different that I think you weren't expecting. For some of you, this could be a lifestyle. For some of you, this could be a relationship. And for some of you, it could be parting ways with either where you currently live or your hometown, something along those lines. For a lot of you, you're about to embark on a journey that is wildly different from your families. And you were meant to do this, not just to break any family patterns, family curses. I don't like to say curses because, it implies a lot of other things. Not to say that you're cursed, but it's like you're breaking patterns from your family to create something new and wonderful. You are branching out, because that's what families are meant to do. They plant the seed and the branches branch out. They don't just go all one way. They're not linear. Trees don't grow in a linear pattern. They grow with branches. So let's go ahead and look at your... Oh, okay. I guess I was going to save this for last, but I feel like your ancestors really want to come through with a strong message. We have prayer. Dear guardian angel, help me to believe that all is possible through love. Help me manifest my dreams and live an inspiring and fulfilling life. Help me to feel God's presence in every moment. Help me feel eternally loved. Thank you for being always by my side. I think they are urging you to either reach out to them in meditation or prayer, however it is that you pay respect to your ancestors, because a lot of you, like I said, there's a feeling of discouragement for you. I'm not sure what you've been going through, Pile 2, but I can tell that you have a heavy heart, because like I said, this was meant to be the last card, their words of advice, their parting words, but they want to come through with some strong messages for you. I will get another one before the reading ends, but let's go ahead and tap into your cards. Yeah, there we go. La familia, something about family approval, or your family's important. Let's go ahead and get more cards though. For my pile 2, like I said, it could be any number of things, whatever the situation may be. We have esqueleto, skeleton. I'm thinking of the foundation of something, much like, the foundation of a house is essentially the skeleton of a house before they put up the walls and the roof, etc. There's something about your foundation that is, you're building a foundation for yourself to create something new. We have bebida, which means drink. In a lot of ofrendas, and I don't have one out today, maybe I should, they serve drinks. Usually it's water, but it's also very, very commonplace to put tequila. In Mexico, they have the little tiny tequila bottles. Sometimes it's really cheap tequila too. It's just to pay respect to the on the graves of our past ancestors. In fact, let me go do that. I'm going to go bring a little glass of water for this particular pile, for this ofrenda. And here we have it. And while I was getting water for them, I also got myself a drink. So daily reminder to stay hydrated, pile 2. There's something very hospitable about your ancestors, pile 2. It's kind of like they're always the kind of people who would offer like a drink or breakfast. Okay, maybe breakfast, maybe a snack to the people that they would have over at their house. Something about hospitality. I'm also hearing "Stay thirsty, my friends," from the Dos Equis commercial, the most interesting man in the world. A lot of you were meant to have very interesting lives, or maybe to even travel the world, to have very interesting experiences, experiences that may not even happen to everybody. Or if not this, then you were meant to meet very interesting people. And that in turn shows you how to become the person you want to be. It's kind of like you come about advice in a way from very kind strangers, or I'm hearing, what's the saying? I've always relied on the kindness of strangers. There's something about that where you are meant to bond with people, whether it's for a lifetime or if it's for a short time, so that you can learn from them, so that you can understand their vibes, their energy, and maybe even imitate that to some extent and make it your own, so that you become the person you are meant to be. So I kind of really like this energy. I want to see the back of the deck for this. Los Santos, the saints. So some of you could be named after a saint, and there's several. I mean, what saint isn't there? But there's also a feeling that, because I'm hearing a martyr, like you're meant to, what's the word? Like you're meant to be the black sheep of, if you feel like the black sheep of the family, which is not always a bad thing. Sometimes it's a good thing, because if your family is full of people who are not the best, and they all have problems, and you're one of the people with the least amount of problems, and that can be a good thing. Or if you're the one who decides to not, to not keep enabling negative behavior within a family, and that makes you the black sheep, then that's also a good thing. I feel like people get called out when they're not trying to remain part of the problem sometimes, and that's what I get with you. I do want to read from the book for Los Santos, because some of you could have the last name de Los Santos or Santos, something along those lines, but let me go ahead and get the book to see what it has to say. I'm so glad I did, because it starts with, recall the wisdom of your innocence. Specifically, you know how when you're a child and you see the world through innocence, and as a child, you don't really know good from bad. You just know what is. There is something similar in your energy where you have a hard time. It's not that you don't have morals, but you have a hard time understanding why people choose to ostracize certain things, or why they are so against certain things, when in your eyes, if it's not harming anybody, it should be fine. It's kind of like there's something here about like prejudices that of your family that you yourself don't accept, or they might be very intolerant of very ridiculous things. You know what's funny? I'm even thinking of the movie Coco, which is about Day of the Dead, and what is it? He wants to play music, but his mom or grandmother, they're like, no music allowed, and it's like, why? It's just music. Like, you give me a Mexican who doesn't like music. I always thought about that about the movie. I'm like, I don't think they're Mexican. They hate music. That sounds crazy. But of course we know why, because the family was traumatized because of music. But again, it's like there's something here where you might have to solve the root cause of why your family is a certain way. Like there might be a very specific story or meaning or person who ruined it for everybody. But the message, my beloved, you've chosen this card because you're being enticed to step into the sacred realm of the holiest of holies. It's time to see your spiritual connection as more valuable than gold, treasures, and social media followers. I want to read this quote from Sandra Cisneros. I love her. She's one of my favorite writers. Once people are not here physically, the spiritual remains. We still connect. We can communicate. We can give and receive love and forgiveness. This is love after someone dies. Sandra Cisneros. I feel like this particular pile, there must have been somebody in your family that passed away, and I feel like there's like a difficulty in processing or mourning that. Doesn't matter how long ago it was, but there's like a difficult connection here with certain people who have passed. And I feel like, so when people pass, once they're out of limbo, because people do remain like closer to the earth realm for a moment. They spent after they pass, they spend a few days here, like saying their goodbyes, and there's in the spiritual form, like you're saying goodbye to their mortal form, essentially in the mortal way, and then they pass on. But when they finally pass on, which most do, not all, but most do, it's like they're cleansed of everything. They're cleansed of everything that they've gone through in this life. Everybody passes on. There is no there is no purgatory, there is no hell, there is limbo, because sometimes they get lost on their way, or they feel that they're not ready for it, or they may not know, they believe that they don't want to pass on to the next, onto the next life, onto the afterlife, whatever it may be for them. And that's where they start seeing like the error of their ways, and all they become is this beautiful energy of love, a love that would have been nice maybe to see a lot more of in their living life. But it's kind of like they see the error of their ways, and sometimes they do come to us in our dreams asking for forgiveness. Sometimes they come in our dreams, or they may come in, like I said, meditation and prayer, to acknowledge that they wish they had done better. And I feel like for some of you, you have ancestors here that are trying to say this, but they're kind of timid. They're a little ashamed. It's like they know they didn't do the best, and they're very sorry, but they know that you were meant for better. And they don't know how much their love to you would mean to you, but they offer it all. They offer it all in all the strength. I'm getting a little emotional, pile too. Please bear with me. But it's kind of like they don't know what it means to you, but they offer you love, and they hope that you don't let the things that they've done in their past get in the way of you achieving more. They don't want whatever they did to prevent you from moving on. Whatever it is that your family may be using against you, that this person may have said or done in the past, like they don't want them to use that against you, because it's unfair. It's like they see the error of their ways. So I'm seeing an example. Let's say you had a grandmother, and maybe you have like a mother or father, somebody who's like, what would your grandmother say if they saw you now? Something along those lines. Don't listen to that, because they cannot speak for those who are not here. They cannot speak for those who are not here. Doesn't matter what they knew about them. Doesn't matter what they thought. When they passed on to the next life, they saw the error of their ways, and all they become is this beautiful, loving force for you, pile one. I'm gonna move on, because this is very deep stuff, and I kind of want to get through the reading before we get a little heavy. But let's move on, pile two. I hope this is resonating with you in the best way. I really do hope this is resonating with you in a loving way. But I can tell this is my pile of people who might even struggle with the thought of an afterlife. We have the Lover and the Storm. Yeah, I was kind of getting this feeling that maybe some of you are wanting to marry or to be with somebody who maybe your family doesn't approve of. Or maybe you're deciding to take things differently. For example, I know families to this day that don't believe that people should be living together unless they're married. Something along those lines. It doesn't matter what it is. But there's a feeling here that for some of you, this Lover energy has to do with your dating life. Maybe you're wanting to date somebody, maybe outside the culture, maybe somebody different. For my LGBTQ community people out there, it could be that very thing. There's a feeling here that it's causing more trauma within you that your ancestors do not want. Like they don't want to create another negative cycle within you. So they ask that you do not listen to those people who are bringing you down, that you do not ask to... It's kind of like they understand what you're going through, and they support you every step of the way. Let's get another card. Creator. You're meant to create new stories. You're meant to branch out. You're meant to, like I said, you're meant to have an interesting life. And whatever lifestyle you decide to have, it could be like, it's just what you're meant to have. Because look at this beautiful rainbow. I associate that, of course, with creativity, with art. But again, like I said, for some of you, this could be my LGBTQ people. You are accepted and you are loved by everybody here. Your ancestors and me included. Let's get one more. The Nectar. Something sweet. It's like you're meant to create something better. You're meant to bring the nectar into this life to get rid of all the sour and bitterness of like whatever it is that your family has passed down to you. There's something here about you making lemonade out of lemons, essentially. It's like you're adding that sugar, you're adding the water. I even brought it here. You're creating something out of like either a hand that like you were dealt a very awful hand and you're making it better, or you're making something out of nothing here. And if you keep listening to the doubts, whether it's your family or whatever your family has implanted in your subconscious, it will never come to fruition. And I feel like your ancestors really want you to keep pushing forward and create something that hasn't been created before, whether it's for yourself or for the whole world or for somebody else. Your ancestors support you every step of the way. Let's go ahead and get another deck to see what wants to come through. We have elderberries, 13. There it is, a knowing within bone. Allow it to guide you. It's interesting that bones keep coming through. We have the skeleton, and then we have a knowing within bone. A knowing within, it's like you feel it in your bones. You feel it in your jellies, to quote Detective Pikachu. A masterpiece that nobody ever talks about. You feel it in your gut that you are meant to do something better. And I'm even hearing, what's that movie, Beauty and the Beast, Belle? I want adventure in the great wide somewhere. You are meant for so much more. We have molasses, 26. To move forward, you must know where you are headed. Yeah, molasses, nectar, there's something sweet. It's like you're meant to sweeten your life. You're meant to bring the sugar into life, if you will. Not Celia Cruz coming in with her azúcar. I love it. I love it. And peppers, 28. Be fierce about the ways in which you protect yourself. Allies await. Yeah, for some of you, I mean, there's a fierceness within you, and I really do feel that you're meant to embrace it. It's like, don't be afraid of your sweet and spicy. Don't be afraid of every little bit that you are. If you ever felt that somebody told you that one side of you was not desirable, don't listen to them, because it's part of you, and who are they to tell you who you are meant to be? It's like sweet and spicy, and I love this. And oh, this happened in the first pile as well, but it's happening a lot better here, where it almost looks like this is the same room, the same window, and the same table. It's like you're meant to merge tables with other people to create something. Even this table, I mean, look how it all looks. Like you're part of a bigger picture here. There's like either a family you are creating of your own, or a community you're about to enter into, or both, that you're meant to be a part of, and it's going to be amazing. Like you're going to find your people, whoever those people may be, and they're going to support you so much. And as I say this, there's a beautiful warmth coming through. And I'm not just saying that because I finally turned on the heater in my house. It's like you feel accepted. You feel like you're shining, you're thriving with the people around you. And they may be people who are very different from you. They might have different backgrounds. I'm kind of seeing like a patchwork quilt, where everybody brings something to the table. So some of them could be from, like I said, different backgrounds, different cultures. Maybe you speak multiple languages. Maybe there's, it's like a multicultural family or a multicultural friend group. Maybe you're even dating somebody outside of your ethnicity, outside of your race, or who is different from you in some way. But there's something beautiful about that, because you are meant to create something within that. You're meant to shine and thrive outside of whatever confines your family has decided to keep you in. And this is beautiful energy. Let's go ahead and move on to the tarot though, because I want to see what else your ancestors have to tell you. I feel like for this pile, it's mostly reassurance that you are on the right path. And yeah, you're on the right path. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. You know what you are meant to do. You know what is truly unique to you. Let's go ahead and get the tarot though. For my pile 2, what does pile 2's ancestors want to tell them? What do they need to know? We have the Seeker of Pentacles. Again, this is you setting roots. It's kind of like you want to start something, but you're afraid to. Or there's like you're a little bit timid about this particular situation. Like you don't know where to start, but you would like to. Or you may not know where to go, where to find these people, what to do. There's something here that... Nine of Swords. And for some of you, this could be urgent. Maybe for some of you, unfortunately, your family has decided to do something like kick you out, or... I'm hearing excommunicate. Maybe some of you feel like you've been excommunicated from your family. Or that it might also be that anxiety could be consuming you to some extent. And this is where your ancestors want you to not be afraid to reach out to them. Even if you've heard stories about them, they promise that the people on the other side, people once they've crossed over, are very different. You will still see their personalities. Like imagine them if they had been the best versions of themselves. This is their higher self coming through. This is what their spirits are. For my pile 2. The cards are a little stubborn right now, which is odd. I wasn't having that problem in the first pile. It's kind of, like I said, there's a timidity here. There's a, like somebody here is very shy. Like they don't want to let it be known. I feel like there's some shame here, whether it's yours or a family member's. Maybe it's a shared shame, and maybe this is something that has to be cleared. It could also be a fear of being seen, or a fear to love and be loved as well. Sometimes that can come through. For pile, we have the Knight of Wands reversed. The Two of Cups reversed. Yeah, it's like you're afraid to reach out to somebody because you're afraid. And the Four of Swords reversed. You may have even dreamed about this. Maybe some of you are getting very strong hints that you are meant to either like reach out to somebody, be friends with somebody. And this could even be a family member for some of you. And for some of you, it could be somebody else. Like I said, I'm sorry, I'm being distracted by the moon. It is like, I have my blinds closed, but there's like a sliver where you can see right through the window, and the moon is so bright. It is waxing right now. It's about to become full. It's kind of like you're mustering up the courage to shine brightly, to do something here. Maybe some of you are mustering up the courage to ask like somebody out or something like that. Even though you think that your family won't approve, you're like, screw it, I want to try this with somebody. And that's beautiful. That's very beautiful energy, because I feel like for a long time you lived in fear of what would happen if you did this. Let's get more cards for you, pile 2. And I'm also going to get runes. I don't think I did that for the first pile, but for this one I can tell you need a little bit of love, pile 2. We have the Judgment card, the awakening. You're making a decision here that is going to be so impactful on your life. This is a life-altering or a life-changing decision. Sometimes there's a sense of finality to it as well. It's like once you do this, you won't be able to go back to being the person you used to be. But this is a very strong decision. And this is underneath the Seeker of Pentacles, the Page of Pentacles, because you're planting seeds here to start something new. For some of you, if you've already done this, like if this is something that you've already done and you're aware of it, it could be that you're starting a new journey of this. Maybe you're having, if you already have a partner, for example, maybe you're starting to have kids or wanting to do something along those lines. And of course, you know, once you have kids, you don't go back to not having kids. Let's get more cards. We have the Sun reversed. Your confidence will amplify when you learn to tame your mind, because a lot of this, and I'm hearing this from your ancestors after them having been through it, a lot of this is all a mental gymnastics thing. It's like learning to conquer your mind, learning to tell those anxieties to go away will be very helpful. It's kind of like, for some of you, meditation could help, and for some of you, it could be affirmations, like telling yourself in the mirror or just telling yourself good positive things about yourself. You will start to believe it. It could also be something like exercise. Maybe exercise will give you clarity, or it will give you a confidence boost. There's something here where you are telling all the doubts and all the shadows of your mind to, it's like they're no longer having any sense of control over you, because you realize that all those doubts are really just whatever your family has ever told you, whatever it may be. Let's get another card to clarify the Knight of Wands. We have the King of Wands, and the Knight becomes a king. It's kind of like this is a bit of a warning that if you don't take care of this now, it'll become, I don't want to say more difficult to take care of later, but the journey will be longer. It's kind of like, you know how when you clean up, if you do small cleanups every day, it's better than having to wait weeks or days and do one big cleanup. It takes a lot longer. That's what I'm seeing. So implement things daily to empower you, because right now it's like you only do it when you think of it. But there's something here about implementing small little habits. Start small every day. That will get you to where you want to be in terms of having control over your life, over your thoughts, over whatever it is that you need to control here. Because this is your life, this is your mind, and this is your body. Only you can tell yourself what to do, and nobody and nothing else. Let's clarify this Two of Cups reversed. We have the Ten of Wands. I'm being told to get a clarifier. Why is it difficult to form connections? Because that's what I'm getting. Is that for a lot of you, there is a difficulty in either forming connections or maybe even retaining, like keeping connections. We have the Ten of Pentacles. A lot of you just believe that you're not worthy or that you're not enough, that you somehow don't have what it takes to be able to keep somebody interested, or that you lack stability. And the truth is that what I'm hearing is, how do I say this? I feel like you may not be used to stability within a connection. And I'm not laughing at you. It's just kind of like, and I don't mean stability like financially. I mean stability emotionally, stability in having peace and quiet, especially when you come from a family that is all drama and you have a drama-free relationship. It can feel a little odd because you're not used to it. But the truth is, that's exactly how it's meant to be. Relationships are meant to be a little bit boring. Marriages are meant to be just a little bit boring, to know that you are comfortable with each other. I'm not saying that you shouldn't bring excitement into it every now and then, but they're meant to be comfortable. They're meant to be peaceful, comfortable, and they're meant to soothe you. But there's people out there I know who are just not used to it, and this is why they get hooked on, a toxicity that maybe they don't see right away, but subconsciously they knew was there. This is why you get people who get attracted to people who don't treat them right sometimes. And this may or may not be you. This could be other people around you as well. But I feel like there's something here about becoming comfortable with being at peace within a connection, and to know that there's a difference between drama and excitement. I feel like what you look for is adventure and excitement, but not drama. And you can have one without the other. So let's go ahead and get your last card to clarify this Four of Swords. For my pile 2, we have the Manifester, the Magician. And I love this. It's like, wherever it is that you're at right now, pile 2, you will eventually learn to manifest everything that it is that you want. But with great power comes great responsibility. So make sure that you learn to manifest things that you know are good for you. Because I've seen people manifest things like just random things. Because manifestation has nothing to do with vibration or morals or anything. Manifestation has something to do with your belief that you deserve something, with your belief that you have and obtain something. And I've seen people manifest terrible things for themselves sometimes because truly they just wanted it and they felt that they deserved it, so they get it. So for you, it's kind of like a warning to make sure, yes, you're going to learn how to manifest, but learn to manifest things that you know are good for you, because you have such a great power to do this, or you will come into this. Make sure you're manifesting things that are healthy for you, that are in some cases even appropriate for you. Because it might become a little tempting to manifest things that you know are not meant for you. And then all you will do is break your own heart. So back of the deck, we have King of Cups. For some of you, this could be a partnership, because the King of Cups, I mean, it could also be father energy. So maybe you have a strained relationship with your father, or the masculine side of your soul, of yourself, or a male figure in general. And for some of you, it's more learning. It's, how do I say this without, I'm not trying to say that you're not emotionally mature, but it's learning a new level of emotional maturity here, or to overcome the struggles, to overcome the emotional immaturity of the people who came before you. Maybe you had parents that were this way, or siblings, or somebody like in your life who just, no matter what, they never really seemed to grow up, or they could have been, like, I'm getting somebody who just has like a lot of self-pity, or just, wallows in their misery, and they expect everybody else to do that around them as well. It's like you're overcoming this to become more emotionally mature and at peace with yourself. And in doing so, you will learn to be at peace with your life. And then you will truly understand that happiness isn't something that scares you. Happiness is just what is. Love is just what is when nothing else is around. It just exists. This is beautiful energy. And I see a lot of you, you're leveling up in a way that I feel like it's a breakthrough. It truly is a breakthrough. You're leveling up in a way that I don't think you realized. And you're going to be very open to new people who are going to come into your life, to the point where they're not going to understand how you used to be in the past. This would be somebody getting used to attention when they weren't used to attention. Or maybe, because I know there's people out there who, they just don't care about love, they don't care about dating, etc. And there's nothing wrong with that. You definitely don't need it. But it's like something happens, their heart chakra opens up, and they meet the exact perfect person meant for them, that is meant to be their companion in life. Again, and I'm not saying this to force romance onto you or anything, but it's kind of like there's a change of heart here, and that's okay if it feels natural and if it benefits everybody and if it is something that makes everyone involved happy. That's all that matters. But let's go ahead and get their parting advice here for you, pile 2. Guardian angel, trust. All unfolds in perfect timing. You are one with divine will. Focus only on love, and all you truly desire will manifest at the most perfect moment. Be patient. I, your guardian angel, am watching over you. Like I said, they're watching over you. You have people who love you on the other side. But this is where I leave it, my beautiful pile 2. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe. I am sending you so much love, and I will see you in the next reading. Take care. Hello there, pile 3. If you chose the selenite heart, then we have a reading here for you about messages from your ancestors, this Dia de Muertos, Day of the Dead special reading that I do every year. There is something here about a longing for either like an old way of being, or maybe there's just somebody you really miss. Maybe you were actually thinking of somebody that passed away however long ago that you truly miss and that you kind of want to hear from. So I'm going to try and channel a specific message from that person if this is you, pile 3. But let's go ahead and move on to the reading, because there's a feeling of nostalgia. That's what it is. It's a nostalgia. It's like feeling that things are not the same as they used to be now that you are gone, now that somebody is gone, or that things have just changed so much. It's kind of like, you know, when our grandmothers pass and we go back to their house, you know, if the house is still around and maybe it was just given to somebody else, it just doesn't feel the same. You know, it's the energy they bring, it's the warmth they bring. Maybe some of you are missing just that, or you might be missing just something that nobody else has been able to fill a void of here, because of course they're irreplaceable. But there's a feeling that you just really, really miss that. And it's very sweet. Let's go ahead and read your cards. You actually got 2 of the hearts here. But I'm going to read these last. These are going to be parting messages from either your ancestors in general or the person you may have on your mind. We have cementerio. Yeah, it's kind of like, if I had this luxury, which I don't, well, one, because not many people in my life have passed, and 2, there's no really a cemetery with my people, you know, with my family anywhere near me. They most of them are buried in Mexico. I would go to cemeteries and sit there and just speak to them. And one way we can do this, even without being physically there, is to pray to them, to close your eyes, think of them, and I think it more of meditating, because meditating opens up a conversation as opposed to a prayer, which is sending a love letter or a letter of appreciation. So for a lot of you, your ancestor is coming through saying that you can speak to them at any time. You do not have to go to their resting place. You don't have to do anything crazy or ritual, or any crazy ritual. It doesn't have to be elaborate. They are there with you in heart at any moment, at any time. Just ask and you shall receive. Or they might even send you like a physical, like some sign that they've been around. It can come in the form of anything. Sometimes I'll see little coins. Like people tell me that after like somebody they knew passed away, they would see, you know, small little coins, little pennies or quarters or something like that. And some people, whenever somebody else passed, they would start smelling their scent, like a scent that was particular to them, or they would see a certain animal that they associated them with, like a bird or a type of bird. So I feel like your person, don't be afraid to reach out to them in prayer or meditation or right before sleep. They will send you a message that they heard you and that they miss you, and of course that they absolutely love you. Let's get more cards to see what else is coming through from your ancestors. But this pile, I really do feel that you're like reaching for one particular person, even though all the messages we're channeling are going to be from various people, like the collective of your heritage, your lineage. So pile 3, we have alebrijes. What did I say? For some of you, this person sends messages in the forms of animals. And of course, alebrijes, they're kind of like, you know, psychedelic afterlife animals. They're colorful and they're a mixture of several things. They look like dragons and but like a dog, and also the colors. There's just something. I feel like this pile really meditates a lot. Or if you don't, I feel like it would benefit you too, because you might even see some of these animals like in your meditation, or even just creatures, which is interesting. They're also the guides to the underworld. So, like I said, whoever it is that you're thinking about, they want to be your guide. So allow them to be so. Maybe you already understand that they are, but it's kind of like there's something there's something about connecting the spiritual with the real here. Like you want to make something more concrete. Let's get another card. I will read from the book for Alebrijes just to see what it has to say. Sempasuchi, which is these are the marigolds. These are the flowers that we have around. Of course, these aren't real marigolds. I couldn't find them in time, and I want something reusable for every year anyway. But and you know what? Like I said, sometimes our past loved ones can come in the form of an animal. So maybe for you, it's a hummingbird. Maybe hummingbirds are important here. But with Sempasuchi, these are all like Sempasuchi makes me think of like the pathway that guides you, the light that guides you to the underworld. Alebrijes can be guides that guide you to the underworld. It's kind of like you're being asked to go deeper into your spirituality, into your heart, into something here, because I feel like you're barely scratching the surface, or there might even be a fear there of scratching the surface. It's like you don't know how to reach them, but the thing is they're there with you in heart all the time. Whoever this person is that you're thinking about, they're showing you ways to get there, and they understand that you may not completely speak in spirit. So they want to tell me to let you know that just find them in your heart. You're there. You're closer to them than you realize. In fact, they're closer to you now than they've ever been, because they see your journey, they see your struggles, and they want to provide assistance wherever possible. And then we have veladora, which is a candle. Yeah, for some of you, lighting a candle could help. I know I light candles to channel energy, to channel divine wisdom. So if it helps you to light a candle in order to like bring them through, you can do this as well. Just make sure your intentions are full of love and not full of, I mean, I doubt they would be full of fear, but it has to be full of love. And back of the deck, La Catrina. Yeah. For a lot of you, I feel like you've tried this before. It wouldn't surprise me if you've done certain like memorial rituals in order to gain clarity or to connect with your past loved one, because it's not always, you don't speak to them directly. I mean, yes and no. I mean, maybe I'm having a hard time describing it, because to me, I can quite literally speak to them because I speak in spirit with the spirits that come through to me. But you can also learn to do this, and you start by bringing love to your heart. Because what a lot of these souls need is a lot of compassion. Compassion that you will understand them. Compassion that sometimes when they're lost and they haven't moved on, when they're in limbo between the living world and, of course, the next life, they need a lot of compassion, because I'll have some that are just very confused, or they may have a hard time moving on. Some feel that they don't deserve to move on because of things that they've done. It's kind of like that feeling. So I feel like you have a lot of understanding within your heart to actually see this through. I'm going to go ahead and read from Alebrijes. I keep being called to do that, so let me do that. So from the book, Lean into the Bazaar. To find your way through this time of great change and perceived loss, where everything feels surreal and upside down, be gentle with yourself. My beloved, if you feel disconnected from me, it's not because you are. As hard as it may feel to believe, the aloneness experienced in grief isn't from a genuine lack of connection. Rather, it is because you see life from the human perspective, where logic, rationality, and concrete, tangible evidence is valued over the subtle whispers from the spirit realm. However, every night when you dream, your mind naturally takes its leave of the destiny of the third dimension and expands into a more advanced way of beholding reality. You spend a third of your life in this dream realm. What might seem strange to your rational mind makes perfect sense when viewed through the lens of your dreaming mind. In other words, you know how to communicate with me. That's what I've been saying. It's like you already have them in your heart. So don't be afraid to speak to them. Don't be afraid of opening up to this world. It's nowhere near as tricky as it sounds to get there. And I feel like with meditation, with with remembering them, you will be able to feel them. Like it's you'll feel it in the heart, because when I tap into ancestor energy, it feels so loving. And sometimes I get overwhelmed with emotion, but I feel it in my heart. It feels like a light, like a supportive light. And this is where your particular person is this is where they embrace you, because I'm feeling the shoulders, I'm feeling the heart. It's like they're giving you a hug from above, you know. It's very lovely. I'm going to read for La Catrina as well, because I kind of want to know what she's got to say, because all of these made sense to me. And then here she comes. So be full, be you to full. Beautiful. Oh, like beautiful. My special one. I'm bursting at the seams to let you in on a little secret. I can't hold it back a second longer. I must let you know the truth, to which few people on earth will ever be privy. Life, as serious as it may seem, with all its brow-furrowing sighs and lows, is a glorious comedy. Seriously, I understand that your heart aches, and the last thing you want to do right now is laugh. However, from my perspective, there is no need for sadness. Here in the non-physical, the bubble evolution has been popped, and it's easy to see that my struggles to prove myself, to try to be better, smarter, and more successful, were in vain. I now realize that I am an infinite being, as we all are. When viewing the human world from a heavenly perspective, it is clear that playing the victim or being overly egocentric and proud is foolish. The thunder of a rainstorm is the sound of angels rolling on heaven's floor, laughing at the memories of our former self-importance. Humans waste precious time pretending to have more than they do, never realizing they already have everything they need. Yeah, it's kind of like a call to laugh more, to live life, to have more fun, to be in this energy of like silly playfulness. Because I feel like it's kind of like it makes it, like, I'm not saying that it's wrong to feel sad that some people have parted, but what they want to see you do is laugh. I used to get this all the time when somebody I knew passed, and when I was tapping into his messages for his family, which I never really told them, or I guess I haven't worked the courage to tell them, because I don't know how, because they're family, they're close family, so I worry about what they say. But the things he told me when he passed, it's like, make sure they keep laughing. Make sure they keep laughing and having fun. I don't want to see them cry over me every day. I want them to laugh and have fun. I will watch them from here, and I want them to laugh, because that's the most beautiful gift he ever gave them, was his sense of humor to them. And it's very beautiful, the messages I hear from that particular he was an uncle, that particular uncle, that he just wanted his kids to laugh, like, yes, miss him and pay their respects, but he wants them to be joyous, he wants them to be happy. And now whenever I tap into his energy about his grandkids, it's just the sweetest thing. It is the sweetest thing that he is literally their guardian angel. So I feel like you're in this similar respect, pile 3, you're beautiful ancestor. They want you to laugh, they want you to have fun, they want you to enjoy life, because they no longer can. It's like, don't worry yourself with these stupid little things. Like, don't worry yourself with things like, yes, honor your sadness and your grief wherever you have it, but don't let it overtake you, because sometimes I feel like when people pass, they wish they had had more fun, they wish they had taken advantage of, the joy that you can have on earth sometimes. And that's why they don't want you, they want you to think of them and remember them, but don't mourn them forever. Think of them in love. Think of them in light. Sorry, I keep sharing stories, but I remember the first time I witnessed a funeral when I was younger. I was at a restaurant with my family, and there was this really loud family next to us. And the waiter came over and he's like, I'm sorry that they're being very loud, but they just came from a funeral. And I just thought it odd. They were laughing so loud. They were, and they weren't obnoxious about it. They were just, joyously laughing about the person that passed away in love. They were thinking of all the silly moments, of all the silly stories, of all the, of all the crazy, like, they were laughing their pain, because laughter tends to be stronger than grief in this case. And not only that, but it's kind of like I understood, and I was so young, I must have been like 7 or 6 or something. I understood then, it's like, that's what that person would have wanted, because the energy I felt from that table was beautiful and joyous. Like, yes, they were mourning, and they were hiding their, their tears with laughter, but it's what they needed, because, I don't think anyone who truly loved them would have wanted them to be suffering. They would want them to be laughing and have a joyous life. Let's go ahead and get the rest of your cards, my beautiful pile 3. Yeah, think of all the beautiful memories you had. Think of the silly stories. I think, they like to hear the silly things that they did in life. We have the castle. Oh, this is beautiful. So This is kind of random. I feel like your ancestor is making sure that you have a home, a beautiful home. It's like they're making sure that you have a place to stay and that you have a wonderful or at least a very safe home, a home that fits you. I feel like this happens a lot, especially if you tend to have luck with like finding the right apartment or the right house or even like traveling the right Airbnbs. I feel like you always luck out. That's them trying to pull strings for you. They want you to be comfortable. We have desert. And I'm going back to castle. For some of you, you may have inherited something from this person as well. With desert, though, they also see when you struggle. They see when you struggle, and it's kind of like I'm thinking of an oasis in the middle of the desert. It's like when you need an oasis, come to me. When I need an oasis, come to me is what I'm hearing. Like whenever you have problems, pray to this person. I keep hearing pray, so some of you must already do this with this particular individual, even if you don't typically pray to any other religion or I feel like you already do this, or meditate. I personally meditate because it makes more sense, but sometimes I revert to prayer mode because there's only a slight difference between the two. For some of you, this might be one and the same, but for me, there's a slight difference because I grew up learning to pray and then learning to meditate were very different for me. We have the village. Some of you might be going back to your hometown or the town where this person lived or like your family's place of origin. And I feel like that place is very near and dear to you. It doesn't matter what it is. I know for me, I happen to have the same birthday as my parents' hometown's anniversary. But it doesn't have to be that literal. For some of you, it could just be that you feel at home there or you insist on having like property there, something that keeps bringing you back. Like there's something about that particular place in the world that really calls to you. Or maybe it's just a city that you've always loved. Like maybe for those of you who have like, if your family happens to be from a very well-known city in the world, I feel like you chose that on purpose in this lifetime, or they chose that on purpose. We also have Anima Mundi. Again, you have everything that it is that you need in this life. Don't feel like, I'm even hearing that some of you might be trying really hard to like tap into your intuition, learn to be psychic. You don't even need all that. Like everybody is psychic to some degree. I feel like everybody at some point in their life will have some sort of intuitive experience. Even the most stubborn atheist out there, will have had some sort of feeling, and they'll attribute it to themselves, which is okay because it's true. A lot of our intuition is a part of ourselves. It lives within us, through us. You have everything that it is you need, pile 3, in order to connect with this person, for a lot of you, I feel like you're dealing with the idea of like where you belong in terms of living, in terms of maybe finding a home, or maybe you just feel hopeless about what to do about something. There is something to that extent here. Let's go ahead and get the rest of your cards. For my pile 3. We have meat and wine, 25. Your presence embodied, tasting the pleasure flowing through your being. Yeah, they want you to have a good time. They want you to have the absolute best time. It could be that some of you, and this isn't me trying to, encourage you to do something that you don't already do, but for those of you who already partake in like drinking alcohol, maybe you become a little bit more intuitive when you drink. This does happen. Some people will just take on a slight personality. I'm not saying to overdo it. I'm just talking, 1 drink or 2, whatever your safe limit is, it brings out something in you. I'm sorry I keep using myself as an example, but I just feel the need to explain it. Like for me, I don't drink regularly. That's not my thing. But when I do, I'll have like 1 glass of wine and it loosens me up. It puts me in a better mood. Like I'm very, real me is very stuffy. I can be a little bit too serious. I could be a little bit too rigid about my scheduling, etc. So when I have like 1 drink, I loosen up and I have fun. So I feel like this is really their call for you to have fun, to have more fun in whatever way it is that you need. For me, it came through this way. It could also be, especially if you come from like a family that either had their own like a vineyard or they've collected wines, or maybe they are just known for being from somewhere that has a lot of vineyards, places in Italy, places in California, where I live, actually in the mountains of Georgia. There are some vineyards up there. So wherever it is, I feel like a vineyard is important here, or a wine. Maybe you've inherited wines as well, because I know you can keep those forever and they taste better. So take that as it resonates, but definitely have more fun, healthy fun. We have Maple Tree 24. There is a change coming that is so big it will shift all that exists. Yeah, there's a big change coming for you, Pile 3. And they're going to see you through it. They're going to make sure. I was talking about like housing, so it could be moving somewhere. The maple tree makes me think of Canada. Maybe Canada is of importance to you. But there's a big change. Can we get something about this change? Elderberries 13. There it is, annoying within bone. Allow it to guide you. It's claircognizance. It's like you will just know that it's time for something. You will just know something when you see it, feel it, hear it, when you're in it. You will just know. It's an inner knowing. Because for a lot of people, their intuition just comes through as I just know something. Like it doesn't even feel like a gut feeling, or I guess you could call it a gut feeling. It's like I just know that something is happening and you can't explain it. I think out of all the clairs, out of all the intuitive abilities, it's the one that is the trickiest, because you will just feel like I have no proof of this, but I just know. As opposed to clairvoyant, you can see it in your mind's eye, or when you close your eyes. Clairaudient, you're literally hearing. What's something else? There's the one where you can smell things, like you just smell things and you know something's up. But this one, or even what's the one where you feel? Like some people just feel an energy. I get that a lot as well. But with this, it's clairaudience, claircognizance. You will just know something. Maybe a little bit of clairaudience as well. Maybe you will hear something, but you will just know. Back of the deck, haunted house 22. The things that haunt you are the things you have to let go. You have yet to let go of. Ooh, okay. So this is a deep message. Two things. You could literally be dealing with a haunted house. And the best way to do that is you could find a professional to do this for you. There are some people online who do this. I'm not one of those. I don't provide those services yet. But I know sage helps. Any sort of incense that you bless with light, or your universal creator, that could help. Palo Santo as well. I also like to use frequencies like bells and Tibetan bowls. When it comes to house clearing, to me, it's more about like what items can you use to actually like use. Some people just envision like light, like a flurry of light cleaning up the energy within a home, and that helps as well. It will all depend. But for most of you, what this actually means is that you have been receiving signs from something or someone. It may or may not be this person, but they're trying to explain to you why you keep getting messages or visual signs about something. The thing is that you haven't let go of some certain situation. For example, and I'm going to shift the theme a little bit, like for those of you who have been dealing with like either an ex-lover, ex-partner, a situationship, and you keep getting signs about that, they're saying that you keep getting that because you haven't really let go of that person. You haven't really let them go. It's like they're haunting you because they meant a lot to you, or because something they did just was so impactful. So you will know when you have fully healed from that person, when you stop seeing the signs of them, when you stop seeing, when you stop having the dreams about them, when it all just goes away. So that's what they wanted, because some of you have been misreading that as, oh, this must mean that they're my soulmate. And for some of you, that could be true. But if you're not even thinking about them, if you're not intentionally doing something here, it's because something about their essence is haunting you. And you have to understand why. And there's several reasons. Some of you, you kind of love that energy, so you don't want to let it go. And for some of you, it reminds you of a version of yourself that either never really came to be, or that once was and you miss it. So you have to let it go. But so for a lot of you, your person coming through wants to let you know that don't mistake some of the signs and patterns you're seeing for something that is meant to be. it's a sign to yourself to let you know where you are in life and not anything to do with this person. Because whoever this person is, if they were meant to be there in your life, they would still be there. They wouldn't be playing games and they wouldn't be making it complicated. Because when somebody wants something, there's very few things that they let stand in the way of that. I don't know who needed to hear that, but that was just like that was an aside from this person. So if this sounds like you, let's go ahead and see what other advice your beautiful ancestor has to tell us. What advice they would like to give you. I feel like that piece of advice was very much an aside. It's like they need to hear this. They're being haunted by something and they're misinterpreting it. So thank you, Pile 3's ancestor, for clarifying that. So from the tarot, I'm very much doing this freeform. Any messages that come through, or even a storyline if there is one here. Messages from my Pile 3, from channeling ancestors. I feel like, let me just get the cards. Divine Masculine. Yeah, okay. I felt the energy shift as soon as I started tapping into the tarot. Whatever this, the first spirit felt more feminine. Like that energy felt like a grandmother, mother, you know, like a loving feminine energy. The one coming through now is something masculine. It could still be a woman, of course, but whoever this was, they were very much in control of their destiny. Or they're calling you, yeah, Seeker of Swords, to step into your own destiny. They're saying that you're not seeing things in the way that they should be seen. Not saying that your current perspective is wrong. It's just there's either a missing piece of the puzzle or a missing piece of information. Yeah, sacred wisdom. This is the High Priestess. Your intuition is being a little cloudy or a little muddled. What they're saying is that there's a perspective here that you have overlooked and it's affecting your intuition right now, which would explain why you are here. I feel like you're trying to gain clarity regarding something. We have the Hierophant reversed. There is a karmic lesson at play here, a lesson that I feel you're still going through or that has to be learned. And I feel like this is how you break a certain cycle. Yeah, and it could have to do regarding relationships. It could either be, this is a one-on-one relationship. So it doesn't necessarily have to be romantic. It could be family. It could be friends. I feel like if it's a pattern that's been occurring within all of those themes, this is what is important. Like there's something here you're not seeing. And sometimes we do this, like even psychics and tarot readers and intuitive people themselves don't always see their own partners for what they have going on. I mean, the mentors I've had intuitively who have had partners that were just awful and somehow they weren't seeing it because I guess they were too close or too enmeshed in that energy. It's like you have to, there was no, what's the word? They couldn't separate themselves emotionally and objectively see what was going on because they had so much love. They had the rose-colored glasses. And it's so interesting because these things that these people were doing were just very, at least to like anybody outside of that relationship, were very obvious. So like, don't be hard on yourself for not having seen something that somebody was or wasn't doing that was very close to you. It's that, like, we choose to believe people, you know, we choose to be loyal to them, to be by their side. Because we feel that that is what love is at some point. We have the Ten of Swords reversed. So I'm hearing, well, one, you no longer want to struggle. And I mean, who does? You know, nobody wants to struggle. But I feel like the worst of it is over. The worst of this is over. And you will be fine going forward. You will be fine. We have the Seven of Wands. And the reason is because you're finally taking accountability and control. It's like you're finally stepping into your power. This is the first step to me. The Seven of Wands is the first step to me that you are trying to become that knight, that queen, that king, the emperor, empress here. You're stepping into your power. Because for a lot of you, you believe that it wasn't within you to do so. This one, we have the Three of Pentacles. Do accept help from others. There are people that your ancestors will send in order to help you. And you will know because these people will they will feel right. For a lot of you, these people, there's going to be no sense of, there's not going to be anything crazy going on here. There's not going to be a sense of like needing this person's approval or caring about their disapproval. These people will meet you where you are at in life. We have the divine feminine. Yeah, for some of you, maybe it's been harder to be in your divine feminine energy than your divine masculine. But I see this becoming this. Yeah, this is the karmic lesson. For some of you, if you've had difficult relationships with women, thinking specifically of like your mother, it usually stems from your mother. Maybe siblings, maybe other women. But I'm seeing a little bit of toxic femininity here where it's like, and we've all seen this is the mean girl energy where like somebody will tell you something to your face but they don't mean it. Or it could also be, especially mothers with their daughters. I feel like that's where I see it the most. It's like they treat you differently as opposed to their sons, which they treat like kings. So some of you could be dealing with this particular energy. Maybe you felt less than because you were a woman, because that's how your mother treated you. And if she, who is also a woman, was treating you this way, then that could be why you feel this way. Of course, it could also be the reversed. Maybe if you are a man, maybe they valued women more than men and therefore you feel less than because you're a man. Take it how it resonates. But regardless, this wound is coming from the mother, is what I'm hearing. And this masculine energy is trying to, how do I say this? I feel like this masculine energy feels responsible for this because of how he treated his daughters or how he expected his daughters to be. This would be like a grandfather talking about your mother, wishing he had done better. But I feel such a protective energy from this person. So if he was a bad person in this life, which it may or may not be true depending on who you are, he feels he wish he had done better. Even if he was a good person, he feels like he could have done better because there's something, they see how the things that went on in the family dynamics are affecting you now. And they apologize because they don't want you to take that burden. They understand that it's unfair that you have to undo some of the psychological damage that your mother may have done to you, whether it was directly or indirectly, whether it was, however it is at any point in life. Because they see how that is affecting your ability to connect with people. Because this is what the Two of Cups reversed is. This could be how you view relationships, how you view friendships even. Because like I said, especially if you're a woman who is not attracted to women and you're trying to make female friends, this could be why you are this way. Let's get another card. Or if you have difficulty with feminine energy. We have the King of Swords reversed. What your ancestor here has done a lot for you is bless you with intelligence. I feel like, especially for those of you, and like there would be, I don't know, I don't remember where I heard this, but there are certain generations, or not even like 2-3 generations ago, reading and writing were not really necessary, or it was hard to come by, or it could have also been like a language barrier, like this person never learned the language of wherever it is that you are. So they bless you with intelligence, but they feel like don't let that intelligence get in the way of your beautiful heart. Like don't let that logic get in the way of your beautiful heart. Do make allowances for people, even when they seem like they don't know what they're doing. You're there to guide them, is what I'm hearing. It's like have compassion for those who don't know as much as you, because this person blessed you with a lot of intelligence and they want you to do the same. I feel like for some of you, this is a calling to be teachers, if that is what you want to be, or to teach your ways to other people. We also have back of the deck Temperance, healing. Yeah, this would be my healers. You heal people through teaching. You heal through teaching them better. And this includes people older than you. There's a lot of examples coming through that I don't really want to share right now, but I think the ancestors coming through in this reading, just because I don't know, I feel like if this was a personal reading, I would say it, but I just don't want to. I feel like the last thing I'll say about this particular energy, they want to empower you so much because they see how the world makes you feel less sometimes. They see how the world can feel like there's no place for you. And they're like, no, there is a place for you. You show them that there is. You show them that there is, and they'll be there with you. They'll be there with you regardless, but they want to strengthen you. Okay, pile 3. Let's get your closing messages from your ancestors. And this makes sense why there's 2. There's one from that feminine energy and one from the masculine. So let's start with the feminine. Encouragement. Your love is invaluable to the earth and to those around you. Even though you may not always see the positive effect your love has on others, trust, for it does. Each time you offer love, through a loving gesture, thought, or word, you plant a seed of love. And love always generates more love. Trust and continue your loving work. Don't be afraid of loving. Don't ever stop loving. Even when your heart breaks, I was always told, your heart isn't breaking, it's just getting bigger. So it's outgrowing the shell that it was in. Some of you could be called to do heart chakra work, especially if you're still dealing with a heartbreak. And then we have dreams. This is a wondrous time of healing and positive transformation. Embrace life each moment and keep focused on your dreams. Retain the purity of your vision, and you will draw success to you. All you ever wished for, even that which seemed a distant dream, is about to manifest. Yes, the masculine wants to bring you a beautiful life. They want to bring you riches and success, especially if you're doing something like having your own business or something where you are more easily and readily available to manifest something. They want to bring that to you because this person wants you to take control of your life, and the other one is reminding you to love unconditionally. But this is very Leave It Pile 3. Thank you so much for allowing me to channel your ancestors for you. It's been such a beautiful, loving energy that I've been feeling from this. I trust that you will find the answers you need. If not here, then outside of this reading. And I'm intending for this to come through you. Like, you will find this on your own, and this will give you the push you need to seek whatever it is that you're seeking. But I wish you so much love. Take care. Hello there, Pile 4. If you chose the candle quartz, then we have a reading here for you about messages from your ancestors. This special Day of the Dead, Dia de Muertos reading that I have planned for you. There's something beautiful about this particular energy that I'm feeling. It feels like, think of like Christmas Eve or evening, or Christmas Eve is an evening, but I'm thinking of like the evening time when people gather with their family for dinner, or to watch TV, to watch whatever it is that families do, maybe to put on music and listen to it, to sit around, gather and talk. There's something about your family truly being your community. I feel like for a lot of you, you really do find refuge within your family somehow. And I get this a lot from, like, I'm getting a very lonely soul from you, Pile 4, regardless of how your life may be, or how many friends you have, or what's going on with you. I feel like there's a loneliness that maybe you've embodied this because you feel that this is how you are always meant to be. For some of you, maybe you're an only child, so this loneliness is not something that is like, you don't recognize it, but other people who would come upon you would recognize it, because it doesn't feel like a hyper independence. It just feels like I don't know, a solitude. Maybe a solitude's a better way to put it, because loneliness makes it seem like you're like there's a problem with being alone, but maybe for some of you it's more solitude. Even if you have a big family, even if you have a lot of siblings, it's like, you know, you're all on your own, or you choose to be on your own. That's why when you come together with family, which may not always be, you know, I feel like it's rare when you do, or it could even be a chosen family that we're talking about here, you really do enjoy it, you really do appreciate it, which is very beautiful. Let's go ahead and look at your cards. So the guardian angel card will be the last one that I pulled. This will be parting messages from your ancestors. We have ofrenda. Yeah, that's what I was feeling, because I was looking at my setup right now and I'm thinking how beautiful it is. You can't see the candle in the back. Well, let me see if I can. It's going to look a little messy, but there's like this beautiful candle, because I need some fire in order to channel. Not always, but I prefer to have it, especially for something as sacred as this. So there's something here about offerings. What this could be, like, if we're talking about your family, I feel like your family was very materialistic, and not in a bad way. I feel like they showed affection through things like money, giving, physical gifts, or through businesses. It's kind of like whatever family you come from, they really did value, like, for some of you, it could even be luxury goods if you come from a family that is well off. But even if you weren't, I feel like things like gold were important, or like the small gifts, the small trinkets, the things that they gave you were important, because there's a sense of materialism here, but with meaning, with feeling. I'm getting, like, I know in Mexican culture this is very common, because, oh my goodness, when I was young, my family would give me gold. Like, there's a thing about giving babies gold which I'll never understand. It's like, don't give a vulnerable child expensive piece of jewelry, but maybe you come from a family like that. I know it's not just Mexicans, I know it's also other cultures that do this, but that's what I'm getting. So you might have some very valuable pieces of jewelry that your family gave you that mean more than whatever money they are worth. So take that if it resonates. But that is one way that you show affection. So I didn't want to say materialistic to come off in a bad way, because sometimes we come to earth sometimes to revel in the earthly goods, precious stones and gold and whatever we perceive to be as luxury. Let's go ahead and get another card for my pile 4. Corona de Flores. And yet there's this feeling like a higher calling for more, because when I get this card, I'm thinking of the crown chakra. Of course, this is a flower crown, but I'm thinking of like your mind. There is something beautiful about your mind, pile 3. Sorry, pile 4. This is pile 4. There's something beautiful about your mind. We have, oh, Cholo Squinkly. This is the hairless Mexican dog, and he is so sweet. Maybe for some of you, you really love dogs, or maybe you have this particular breed of dog. I feel like dogs are important to your family, or maybe just to you. It's interesting that he's hairless as well, because whenever I think of hairless pets, I'm not sure if hairless pets are also like allergy friendly, because maybe for some of you, you've always wanted a pet, but you were never able to have one. So maybe you went and got like a hairless pet or something like that. Because it could be cat or dog. But regardless, there's something here about companion animals. Maybe because you were very lonely, you always decided to have a companion animal with you. And maybe that's all you've had. You've never had siblings, but you definitely had pets. Or maybe you've always wanted a pet. Let's get one more card. If you don't have any pets, this could be like advice from your ancestors that it would help if you have a pet. There's something about owning a pet that really teaches you how to have patience, how to love unconditionally, how to, of course, have responsibility for another creature other than yourself. I didn't get my first dog until I was well into my mid-20s. I think I was 23 or 24 specifically. Camino. Yeah, there's a pathway. For some of you, you could be shifting paths, because I feel like you were on a certain path that was leading you somewhere, but then something changed. Because when I see Cholo Squinkle here, it's like he's a guardian. He is meant to be like a guide to the spiritual realm, at least in this particular deck. He's meant to be a guide to that which is unseen, because pets can be very psychic. I know my sweet little Pisces Pomeranian, she's very psychic. I mean, she loves crystals, and she feels energy. Like, of course she can't talk, but I can tell just by her vibe that she feels vibes very well. Not all dogs, of course, but there are dogs that can be. So it's kind of like something came into your life that kind of shifted where your pathway was. I mean, it doesn't have to be a pet. It could also be, for some of you, it could be a child. It could be a friend, a lifelong friend. There is something here where your values have shifted from something material to something a little bit more spiritual, a little bit more selfless. And even as I say this, there is like a very heavy weight lifted off of me. Like, there was a weight on my heart and my gut, and it's been lifted off me. Because for some of you, you were valuing the wrong things, or maybe you never saw the value of something before, and now that you do, it's like, I have to change something, because whatever it is that I found, this feels more true to me than what the past things I used to value feel. So for a lot of you, your values are changing, and your ancestors are coming through to kind of guide you in that way, because your ancestors know, because they were the ones who kind of started this, what your family, like what the values of your family are, but you were meant to value something else. It's like, let them worry about whatever legacy they think is going on, and you do your own thing. And I do get the feeling that it might be difficult for some of you, because, again, if you are, I'm getting like only child vibes here for whatever reason. If you were an only child, or I guess you still are an only child, maybe you were expected to do something, but it's like you don't want to do that anymore. So you're going to have a I'm hearing for some of you, it might be a difficult conversation, and for some of you, it might just be a heavy conversation with your family about switching gears to do something else, something that is a lot more true to your nature. And whatever this is, it could be anything. It could be a career, it could be where you decide to live, it could be maybe your lifestyle, something along those lines. So, I feel like you've definitely already decided this. I feel like there's not really a sense of indecision. Your energy, pile 4, feels very confident because, like I said, there's hyper independence here. There's a solitude here, and when all you have is yourself, you don't really take everybody, well, and I'm not trying to make this sound bad. You're not taking anybody else's considerations or anybody else's thoughts into consideration because it's all you. So because it's all you, you're deciding to do this. With the exception of the Cholo Squinkle person or animal or whoever this card represents. They represent somebody interesting. In fact, let me read from the book. I'm being called to read from the book before I move on because I want to see. There we go. Treat yourself like your own best friend. My beloved, you chose this card because it's time for you to explore the true meaning of devotion, most especially to yourself and your well-being. Don't think your loyalty to me means you must carry out a prolonged period of morbid mourning. That is simply not true. I know you love me. I know you grieve for me. I know you miss me. Know that my greatest desire for you is that you take the love we shared and multiply it. Infuse your spirit with the zest to make the best of the rest of your life. In your moments of true aliveness, you uplift me. Every time you follow your nose and follow your instincts, you make me smile. Each time you indulge the urge to frolic, play, and roll around in joy, you boost my soul. You might even feel my presence tagging along, enjoying you, even playing fetch. Yeah, it's kind of like, don't think that you're going to disappoint anybody. Your ancestors want you to be happy. Your ancestors want you to branch out because you're meant to do a lot more than the original plan. Whatever the original plan that you had for yourself or that your family had for you was, you're meant to do more than that. So let's go ahead and get your archetype cards. My beautiful pile 4. We have Alethea. Alethea. I knew what this meant, but I'm going to look in the book because I remember I had a reading one time where I looked this up and I was screaming about what it meant because there was something about that reading. You might be from that same reading. I don't know. We have the vessel. Oh, yeah. There is... With vessel, I'm thinking of purpose. Like you are meant to carry out something. You are literally the vessel to carry out something here. I'm feeling like you're undoing something from the past. Like whatever it is that you're doing, it's meant to either, like it's meant to repair something from your family's past. The riddle. But you're not aware that you're doing this. Like you won't figure that out until much later. In fact, it's kind of like, let's say your family has a secret and you don't know what it is. This is confirmation. 3 out of the 4 of the piles today have had Anima Mundi, and this is a completion card, a card of you having everything that you need and all the tools to carry this out. But like I said, let's say your family has a secret and you're not aware of the secret, but there's like something dark in the family that went on, or maybe everybody knows about something. Like all the older adults in the family know this, but you don't know it because they never thought to tell you because they think, oh, well, that's none of your business. It doesn't matter. We're beyond that. We're past that. And then you do that very thing, or you do something that kind of involves that thing, or is, you know, like you're triggering the family by doing what you are doing, but you're not aware of it. That's what the riddle is. So I don't know what this pathway is, but I feel like in choosing that path, you are actually triggering, you're triggering the family, like, what do I call it? You're triggering the family traumas by doing this, but you're not aware. And that's why, let me read from the book. My goodness, pile 4. Here it is. Alethea, truth. Our soul recognizes the truth. When someone speaks it, a cool wave of relief washes over the room, and all the facts and figures in the world fall by the wayside. Such is the power of Alethea. It has an undeniable resonance that goes beyond the rational. We can also recognize Alethea by its contagiousness. When we hear someone speak the truth, We see the truth within ourselves and are more likely to tell our own story. The Aletheia card requires us to step toward an act of truth. This might look like a conversation, a gesture, a poetic act, or a ritual that honors the unveiling of what's been concealed. Reclaiming your own truth is a way to reclaim your vital energy, health, and sense of belonging in the world. Truth has its own wings. Set it free. Yeah, there is a truth that is going to be unveiled when you decide on this path, and it's going to freak people out. Like, it's going to freak out your family. They're going to be like, wait, why are you doing this? Why? They're going to wonder, like, if you know something or if you came about something. And that's when they're going to start spilling the truth. They're going to start telling you what is going on. And it's different for everybody. I'm not getting anything specific. But like I said, you're not aware that what you are doing is something that somebody from your past used to do. Or maybe, I don't know, there's something here. It's like, for example, if you want to be an energy healer, an energy worker, you're deciding, okay, I'm going to do this. But you fail to recognize that, like, several generations down, there was somebody renowned within your family who also did that. And everybody kept it quiet because they thought, oh no, that's not a good thing to do, blah, blah, blah. You know, there's something like that. That's just an example, but that's not exactly for everybody. So, and for some of you, it could be the decisions you're making. I mean, for some of you, it could be dating. Like, maybe you're deciding to date people of a certain background, and everybody's like, wait, why? Because, like, that's not something that your family does. But the truth is, like, down the line, you actually have that same blood. But that's not going to be everybody either, because I feel like in today's day and age, people aren't as prejudiced as they used to be. But there's something interesting here. It's going to be like the ghost of the past of your family that you are bringing back. And people are going to react differently to this. Let's go ahead and get your cards. Maybe these will give us... okay. So we have pomegranate. That one popped out. I'm going to get all of them. And you know what? Pomegranates make me think of the myth of Hades and Persephone. He gave her the pomegranate seeds to eat so that she would be bound to the spirit world. It's kind of like you're eating pomegranates that are going to bind you to something more true to yourself. Because I always see Persephone as like the goddess of spring, yes, but that's not what she was meant to be. She was meant to be the goddess of the underworld. So yeah, there's something... It's like whatever it was that you thought you were meant to do, it's actually not that. This would be like, astrologically speaking, you were doing the south node this whole time, and now you're choosing the north node, which is what you are meant to do. We have Reaper, 32, and one more. And it's interesting that I just said Persephone and Hades, which are underworld deities. And I'm also seeing this kind of as like the death card, which is a transformational card. You are going to transform. Some of you are going to do a 180. We also have straw bale. All right, let me read these cards. Back of the deck. Corn maze. Oh yeah, it's going to be a little tricky. Okay. Pile 4. Pomegranate, 29. Dare to taste the unknown. Let it seduce your spirit awake. Yeah. For some of you, like I said, there's like a... for some of you, it could be a relationship, which is why the word seduce makes sense here. Some people are going to think that you've been seduced by somebody, and it's like, no, you're actually choosing this person because you truly, you know, love them and adore them and feel that you can build a future with this person. Yeah, for some of you, it might be dating, oddly enough. We also have Reaper, 32. For the birth of something new to manifest, the death of something holding you back is inevitable. Yeah, the old version of you is going to be no more. We have straw bale. It's time you step out of your comfort zone, take up space, and reach new heights. Yeah, you're moving out of your comfort zone. And then back of the deck, corn maze. Although your path is unclear, it is there waiting for your faith to lead you. And it's funny that we have corn maze and this pathway here with camino. It's like you're meant to go a different path. You really are. And this will involve different people. This will bring out a truth that has been needing to be spoken. This will make you the vessel for change within this particular... For a lot of you, it has directly to do with your family. And for some of you, it could just be the expectations that people have set upon you. You're meant to do something different. And I feel like you've always known this. And or maybe you've recently come to understand this and you just kind of want confirmation. So your ancestors are letting you know that you are on the right path regarding this. They made it a point to bring it into your life, to quite literally bring it on your path so that you could see this and move forward. But let's go ahead and move on to the tarot if this sounds like you. Because for a lot of you, I do feel that you have a certain situation going on. And maybe this is why you're here. So for a lot of you, you don't really tap into your ancestors a lot. I'm wondering if this is like my pile of people who haven't had a lot of people who have passed away in your family. But that doesn't mean you don't have ancestors, of course. But it's kind of like maybe you don't really concern yourself with the afterlife, or maybe you're not very spiritual, but you do appreciate family, and that is why you're here, which is very interesting. Let's do the tarot. I'm being told to pick a different deck for you, pile 4. Let me go get it. For those of you wondering about tarot decks, the reason people have so many is because every tarot deck, there will be the same basic of cards, right? We have all the, what is it, 78 cards. But every deck interprets it differently. Or there might be like a slight change to it, or it could even be the imagery used within the decks themselves that could be pointing us towards something. This one in particular that they told me to choose actually has words on it, and sometimes I don't always pay attention to the words. Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't, but I feel like you're meant to see something within this one. So pile 4. Any advice, messages, and guidance from their ancestors that they need to hear now. We have the Ace of Wands. So some of you have been feeling a lack of inspiration or a lack of direction. It's kind of like you have a hard time getting inspired or finding the motivation to do something. And there is a reason for that. If you are, whatever it is that you do for a living or anything that used to give you some sort of passion, I feel like that's fizzled out. And maybe that's for a reason. Some of you are just kind of done with something that you used to care about. We have the Hanged Man. And this has made you become a little bit stagnant. It's kind of like there's a decision to make. Yeah, this is indecision. This is a decision that you need to make that you're not aware is holding you back the longer you keep being undecided, the longer you decide not to take action toward it. Because indecisiveness, at least to me, and I've always been this way. I've always hated indecision. I like people who make up their mind. So the way I'm seeing it, the way I'm interpreting it, is that your indecision is keeping you stagnant. Your indecision is really dragging you down. It's like maybe you haven't sat with yourself enough to understand what it is that you want. And there's a feeling that the reason something kind of came very suddenly into your life, or rather dramatically, or that something here is very insistent, it's because your ancestors, your guides, the universe is trying to push this in your face, quite literally, so that you can see at least other options, so that somebody here can open up your mind. It could be a person, it could be a situation, but I feel like for a lot of you, your life has been stagnant, and it's made you become indecisive. It's made you become, for some of you, it could have slowed you down quite literally. Like if you always find yourself stuck in traffic when there shouldn't be any traffic, that's what this is. Because I had that for a while. Over the summer, I was in a situation and I just kept getting stuck in traffic at the wildest times of the day. Didn't matter what day it was, didn't matter what was going on. I'd be like, why am I stuck behind the slowest car in this road? You know, it would be that situation. We have the Four of Swords reversed. And it's interesting because the Four of Swords upright is resting, but reversed, it's like it's time to act. It is time to make a decision. And this will come very naturally to you. It's not going to feel forced. It's going to come very naturally to you because something will light the spark here. Something is going to poke at you to start making a decision. We have the Seven of Swords, but you're going to keep this secret for a while. I feel like for a lot of you, I'm getting a sense of either guilt or shame or even embarrassment. It's like you don't want people to know that you're doing this. Oh my gosh. As I'm saying that, my throat is choking up. Yeah, you don't want to talk to anybody about this pile 4 because you're afraid of the backlash. You're afraid of what they'll say. Usually the Seven of Swords is a deception, but here it's not meant to be like, you know, anything. It's not meant to be a malicious deception. It's meant to be secrecy where you're just like, I don't want them to know just yet. I'm not ready to let the people know that this is what I'm doing or that this is what I want to do. I feel like only your closest friends, even them, I feel like for some of you might keep this secret because you're not ready to let them know that you are deciding to choose something else. And what this something else, I'm kind of curious about. Like, I won't ask you to share, but if you want to, you can. because I feel like it's something serious. Pile 4. We have the Chariot reversed. And with this, the Chariot will start, like I said, some of you are at a standstill. The Chariot reversed is things not moving along, but upright, which I feel is what's going to happen. You are taking action towards this. You are moving forward, progressing forward. You are finally getting out of the rut that you have been in. I'm going to keep this reversed because I feel like this is how you are right now, because for a lot of you, you still haven't made this decision. You're still worrying what your family will say, maybe even your friends. You're worrying whether this is something that is even worth it or not. You're wondering whether it's even, for some of you, there's a sense of, let me get the rest of the cards, because I feel like for some of you, you've already tried doing something like this in the past and it hasn't worked out, or this may be your first big decision that you've made in your life that has anything to do with this, with whatever the situation is here. So yeah, we have the King of Pentacles. How am I meant to take the King of Pentacles? Upright. This is one way that you assert control over your life. For some of you, this could have something to do with your finances. So it may be a very practical reason as to why you make this decision. That's going to be the basis. Like for you, you're going to lead off with this decision as something very beneficial to you or something very practical. So it could be due to finances, it could be due to health, something that nobody would question. Earth signs are not people who like to ruffle feathers. They like to keep the status quo. Like they're okay being conventional. They're okay being maybe even a little boring. So you're going to start off with this particular decision. One of the reasons you will have it is for something practical so that nobody can question it. Or if you haven't thought of that, this is the advice coming through. This is advice for you to start with something practical regarding this. We have the 10 of Swords, and there's going to be a lot of recovery is the right word. Recovery, moving on. You're healing. That's what I'm getting. It's like you're going to recover from the past. You're going to move on. A big weight will be lifted off of your shoulder. You're going to start feeling a lot better about your life, about yourself when you make this decision, whatever it is. For some of you, it could be quitting a job, quitting a career, or switching careers. I feel like that's the biggest one. For some of you, it's deciding to settle down with somebody that nobody really expected you to settle down with. Like I'm seeing a very unconventional choice for a partner for some of you, which I know doesn't make any sense. Well, I guess it does make sense, which I know doesn't really seem like a big deal, I guess. I don't know, maybe some people see it as a big deal, some people don't. But for me, the way I'm seeing that particular situation, I think a lot of regular people don't see it as a big deal. But to your family, because of their baggage, they see it as a big deal. Because I'm trying to get a feel of what that is. And I'm like, well, what is it? But your ancestors are telling me, well, you don't get it. This family's got some skeletons in the closet, if you will, or some trauma that you will find out about. I'm not really getting much from that. I feel like they keep it secret. 5 of Swords. You might cut ties with certain people, but that's okay. Because the people you're cutting ties with, I feel like they were never healthy for you to begin with. This could be like, for example, if you have that one auntie or uncle that you're just like, you know what, I don't really like them. And if they don't like me, that's fine because I don't need their approval. That's what I'm getting for some of you. Let's get another card. Okay, let's clarify this, keeping this a secret, or if not keeping it a secret, it's like you're not ready to tell everybody. So it's going to be hush hush for a while. We have the 8 of Pentacles. It's kind of like you don't want to come out with it until you know that it's going to be okay. You don't want to come out with this until you gain some success. So if you switch careers, you don't really want to tell anybody about it until you gain some success so people can't question it. It's like you want to have some sense of like you want to have an upper hand in this so that people don't question the crazy decision that you have made. So you won't be telling anybody about it until you see some stability or some success in it, which makes sense. It's like if you're like, for example, if you want to quit your career as a doctor and want to be a YouTuber, you're not going to tell anybody about it until you make more money as a YouTuber than when you were a doctor. Like that's what I'm getting. That's just an example. Same thing with, because for some of you, I'm getting like a relationship. Like you're not going to tell anybody about this relationship until you're already married and have kids and have like the house and, you know, until you have the white picket fence, and then nobody will question it because they will see that it is a family that is, you know, good, that you are a good, a well-standing family, or whatever the term is. So, yeah. Let's get another card. And I hope nobody in the comments comes at me about a quote, quote, secret relationship, because there was a reading I did. I forgot what the reading was about, but there were people in the comments saying that, oh no, that's a bad thing. And I'm like, there's practical reasons to keep a relationship very private or to keep it hidden from the world. And it's not all bad, you know? Because what you share with somebody isn't, you don't have to tell everybody about it. So I really hope no one comes in at me in the comments for that. Though I guess I worded it the wrong way when I did that reading, but regardless. Let's go ahead and move on to this Chariot. So I want to see what exactly will happen once we get the energy going. Once we get this progress, we have success. Beautiful. This is the Six of Wands. This is you obtaining all the success you've ever wanted. I feel like in this particular decision, it's difficult and it's a little crazy, but your gut instinct is being very strong with this. Like your intuition is guiding you here, and your ancestors are helping you. I feel like I said, they keep putting things in your path. Oh, okay. Yeah, like these cards that just fell out of my hand. They keep putting things in your path that are meant for you that you may have not wondered about before. We have Six of Cups here with nostalgia. Oh my goodness. For some of you, this could have something to do with your childhood. Maybe there was something you always wanted to do as a kid and you never had the chance to do, so you're going back to that. But I'm also getting, to me, this is a card of love, specifically like childlike love, like the love a child has for the world. So I feel like whatever this decision is, it brings this out in you. If it's a person, they bring this out in you. And of course, if you want to have kids, I feel like the love that you will have from your kids is going to be so amazing. Of course, this is also a card of your ancestors reminding you that they love you very much. And then we have the Six of Pentacles. For a lot of you, this is you building everything that you've ever deserved, because for some of you, it's like you worked so hard to get something and you never had enough, or like you never received enough from this. Like something here was taking more. This is just balance. Like things are finally balancing out. This can also be on a more spiritual or emotional level. This is finding things emotionally satisfying, or very like you feel a sense of fulfillment from whatever this is. And it's interesting that we have all the six cards here: Six of Pentacles, Six of Wands, Six of Cups, and these are all beautiful cards too. The only thing that is missing is the Six of Swords, which is a card of moving forward. So I feel like you need to make the decision, and then the progression begins, and then you are able to move forward. Because right now you're still stuck in this kind of limbo phase because you're afraid of what people may say, or you're afraid that you're going to disappoint the family. And now the movie Mulan is coming through. So it's kind of like if she had been stuck there wondering, should I go to war so my dad doesn't have to? Will there be dishonor? Should I, imagine how that movie would have been if she had stayed in that mentality for like days or weeks. And instead she just went full tilt and was like, okay, screw it. I'm gonna disguise myself as a guy and I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna fight for China. That's what she said. That's what she did. So that's what I'm getting. Back of the deck, we have the Hermit. And for a lot of you, this is going to be such a big inner transformation. It's going to be such an enlightening journey of the soul. You're going to become a different person from the inside, to the point where your personality may even change. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with your personality now, but it's like it's going to be more true to the person that you are, and you're going to be able to handle things that you used to not be able to handle in the past. This would be, for example, an introvert becoming a little bit more, let's say, ambivert, or maybe even a little bit more extroverted. So your whole life is going to change because your inner workings are going to change. And because of this, people will approach you differently. It's like you're living a whole different life, but it starts inwards. It starts from the inside. It starts from this small seed, from this little fire that you have to light here with the Ace of Wands. And this is all beautiful. Like, I love whatever journey this is that you are about to embark on, Pile 4. And I'm grateful that your ancestors brought this to your attention. because for this particular pile, like I said, I'm not getting strong ancestor energy. I just feel like they want to guide you in a particular way. I feel like maybe, and this isn't to be mean or anything or to say anything negative, maybe your family isn't the most, maybe they weren't very close. Maybe your families were very cold with each other, or there was like an aloofness there within the family. Maybe this is why I'm feeling this. And maybe you're about to change that. Maybe you want to have a family that does show and express and embody love in a way that makes more sense to you. But we're going to close off with their parting advice, which is this card: acceptance. There is nothing about you that you need to fix. Reclaim the disowned parts of you that yearn for love and acceptance. You are beautiful just as you are, regardless of any faults you may perceive you have. You are an eternally radiant being of light. Accept all that you are and just be you. When you truly accept yourself, your whole world will magically and lovingly transform. Like I said, this is you finally accepting yourself as you are meant to be. And for a lot of you, even if you do get told, like let's say you're a very attractive person and people who tell you every day that you're handsome, beautiful, that you're attractive, maybe you get a lot of romantic attention. But you can get all of that and still not feel worthy and still not feel it on the inside, because that's what I'm getting for some of you. Within this journey that you're about to take, once you make the decision to take it, you're going to start feeling that love. You're going to start feeling that heart chakra open. You're going to start feeling the self-acceptance, the self-love, and you're going to see how much more important that is to you than this external validation that you have been seeking or that you've been getting that really just didn't mean anything to you. I mean, maybe it did mean something. I think it did mean something. Like, I think you do feel good when people tell you this thing, but it doesn't, it's just different. It hits different when you feel yourself that you are beautiful, not just when people tell you. But this is where I leave it, pile 4. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe. And I send you all my best. I send you all my love. I will see you in the next reading. Take care.